Welcome back, everyone. This is the night shift. Once more, ZP here with Jason and Jake. And gentlemen, a new week here in Deadlock, and maybe some shifts in the meta once more, as in not just in the meta too, shifts in EU rosters across the bound, even about an hour before the show, no less.
Look, it's time for EU to take up some of the great learnings from North America. Constant roster shuffling. Bring it on, baby. We innovated this first. This finally European Deadlock is learning something from NA rather than the other way around.
Did we indirectly plan to all be wearing black today? That's what I want to know.
Color coordination. Black like my soul, my heart.
I hope Dan, who's coming on later on, is maybe wearing black as well. But if we're talking about meta, ZP, man, Gun Holiday really reigned supreme last week. I'm curious to see if North America has been able to pick it up, but also if we're going to continue to see it in EU and if anyone finally has a way to stop it.
We'll see it in EU. Like, I was checking in, I can say this more freely because Buff Enjoyers isn't playing this week, but I was checking with Lightbringer. I was like, hey, any new meta developments? And I literally asked Lightbringer, maybe more Gun Holiday. At the exact same time, he says, yeah, there's a lot more Holiday. Like, same wavelength, so Holiday Prio has gone way up. But for those who are tuning in, wondering when the world is on the menu for today, we got you covered. This is what we're going to be seeing here today. Kicking things off, it's going to be Leviathan against Fearless Furies. Fearless Furies kind of slotting into the old Lodo spot of being the reliable number 3 team in EU. The winner going up against the new and improved Abrahams, where it will not be Hoot and Obakim subbing any longer. Dmov and ABL have permanently joined the team, or in ABL's case, Jason, rejoined the team.
Yeah, I'm not going to lie. Seeing Jamside kind of come out, I'm curious to see if Sonya will be in, or for sure be picking up the M1 hero carry of the team. But this roster's scary, like legitimately scary. I can't really see a weak link in this team, and I think they are for sure the new super team that honestly I don't even know if Buff Enjoyers can beat at this rate. Obviously, because they don't have technically 6 locked in. But even in their prime, playing up against Abrahams and the roster they're fielding is going to be a very difficult day for them.
Meanwhile, in NA, Jake, we got the return of Sneaky Golem. They're back and into it. They had a little bit of illness last week, but they're ready to reclaim the throne. And Bunny with Clock is up to full strength. Last week, they'd given 2 of their players, including Aiden, over to the Unks. But this time around, we get to see Pashi's full vision for his roster at hand. NA, it feels like the most stacked week we've had in NA for a while.
Definitely. I mean, I'm excited to see Sneaky Golem back in the lineup here, taking the challenge against melee creeps there, potentially in the NA finals. But like you said, it won't necessarily be easy. I think that even that challenger match is going to be pretty competitive, pretty difficult to get through. So just a super exciting week, I think, for the night shift. Really, just can't wait to get into the Deadlock action.
Now, also speaking of getting to the action, it's the end of the year as far as sponsorship goes. So, things are a little bit more sparse, but we still got you covered as far as the players go. It is a $600 prize pool per region here tonight, and brought back a little bit of crowdfunding where you at home can go and donate to add directly to the prize pool all night long. That will be split evenly between our NA and EU winners. So letting you guys know, yeah, it's a little bit lower in base, but it could be higher with your help.
Yeah, I mean, the community support has been amazing. We're psyched that we can still, even without a sponsor, provide you a prize pool. It looks like Jason has had a
Bro, am I here?
Oh, he's gone. He's gone.
Am I here?
I hear you, but I don't see you, Jason.
My camera just died. My wife just brought me a coffee and some apple cinnamon cake. So I'm in heaven right now. Just like I'm going to be in heaven when one of you guys out there are here to support not only the show, but support the players by donating to the prize pool. If I'm not mistaken, ZP, every buck that goes in towards those donations goes directly towards the prize pool for that week.
That is correct. Everything put in there is directly into the prize pool, and again, split between NA and EU. And look, I mean, as it goes, we're actively seeking out sponsors. And look, in weeks where you don't have a name sponsor, we still want to provide competition for the community. That's just where it's at. But before we get into our first matchup, let's take a look at the pick priority from last week, which is going to be a pretty big omen into what to expect for this week. And the big thing that we saw last week, that was a trend that, from all accounts is going to be even bigger this week. Holiday back up to 6. The other thing I did hear, though, Jason, coming into this, is that teams are more willing to experiment with giving up Kelvin.
Yeah, I mean, we had to go through once, and I believe it was over in North America with Saya getting it, if I'm not mistaken. And I think you can kind of see that some people are out of practice with it a little bit, though Sai was never really a Kelvin player in general. But yeah, seeing Kelvin get played a little bit, Victor being taken completely out of the pool when it came to last week. But also, it's been about the rise of Calico, man. Seeing her first picked once and then picked the rest of the time 7 times. And I believe we only had 7 matches played last week as well. So 100% of the time is kind of interesting to see that, because there hasn't really been, as far as I know, Jake, too many big changes on her. I think people just realize, oh yeah, she's still pretty decent.
Yeah, I mean, I think people are just valuing, the scouting, the roaming potential. And then in the late game, I do think Calico is just one of the best characters for getting on some of these squishier backliner carries that you might be trying to play, such as the Holiday. And especially with Victor being completely banned out. I mean, I'm curious if that'll last this week, right? Because what you're saying, ZB, about how good Gun Holiday is at hero seems to just be kind of doing what Victor was being picked to do, which is to say, get super farmed, and then in the late game, you're just a monster. You just carry the game. I feel like Holiday might actually go even higher in priority, and we might see, like you said, some Kelvins, maybe even some Victors coming in here to competitive play, right? You're only going to get 2 of those first round bans, and I think some of these high priority heroes are going to start to slip through with so many contested picks here at the top end.
My theory here, as I look at this, I actually think today, if I had to guess who's going to be going up and who's going to be going down, I think Doorman's probably going to go up. Based on how we saw people playing Doorman, I think Doorman is still really, really good, especially in how he's enabling objective play. And I think we're maybe seeing a little bit of the fall of Infernus. I think people realized last week that you don't necessarily have to prio Infernus as highly as some teams have been going. Like, I still think you'll go first half of the draft, but maybe not the first pick in the first round of the draft.
Okay. I think... what's weird is that I think people kind of overreact when it comes to nerfs, or potentially even maybe not so much buffs, because I think when buffs come through, they're big enough that people are like, okay, this is a viable hero now. But they kind of like overreact.
Wait,
I remember, if you can hear me, there we go.
I got you now.
I don't know, my stream just crashed completely on my side. When Shiv got hit with some nerfs, like for instance, the rage not being able to channel out of combat from players, just or you can't use it on minions, sorry. And then people started using it, and they're like, oh yeah, he's still pretty decent. But what I'm really curious about is how EU looks when it comes to hero priority, because we've seen massive differences in EU and NA, and we can see definitely the prio with Holiday, of course, going over to EU, even Ivy. Is this just EU, just to make sure?
Yeah, also, the first stat graphic was a little bit wrong, by the way. We were getting gaslit a little bit, because I was sitting there, like, I don't remember Shiv not being picked in any of those games, but, maybe my memory is the one that's going weird. But no, we've changed things up, and also, this is the EU-specific priority for where we're at.
Yeah, which is
that's
interesting,
exactly what I wanted to see.
I feel like we get actually more diversity in the graphic when we combine the 2 regions, because there's just that slightly different perspective. Another character that I think is going to go under the radar a little bit, but I think maybe some of these top teams in the EU might contest a little bit more highly, is the Sinclair. It actually got kind of contested towards the last 2 matches of our EU Grand Final last time, and I suspect that with the playmaking Sinclair was able to pull off in that series, like, it felt like actually a really potent character. I mean, not necessarily like top tier. It's one of those like back half of the draft picks, but I kind of like what we've seen out of the Sinclair. I feel like it introduces a little bit of playmaking that teams and players are starting to really feel like they figure out how it fits into the lineups.
I mean, think about Hoot and Task together with Sinclair Paradox, and they took that first Guardian 3.5 minutes in, really using that pressure early on. But I believe now, ZP, we're looking at last week's proper hero priority, because you did mention Kelvin getting through, and I'm like, well, 1 time doesn't seem right, but we did see get through two times, like you said. But then also looking down the rest of the line here, Yamato banned out 4 times. I feel like 3 of those were against ABL out of Abraham's last week, and then also Viscus getting a ton of bans in priority as well.
Yeah, and it's kind of funny how Viscus, like, nothing can change, and Viscus will just oscillate between like 3 and 7, it seems like, week after week. But I got chill my inner pocket. We got to move this show along.
Let's do it.
Let's get into our first matchup, and it's going to be Leviathan taking on Fearless Furies. And I gotta say, I'm going to head it off right now. You're going to look at this Leviathan roster and be like, wait, that's 3 members of Goo Balls. Why aren't they defending? Because Goo Balls won last week. And the answer is Goo Balls initially didn't want to play this week. We had to lock in the spot for Abraham's, and 24 hours before, we still needed another EU team, and Hapex was able to put together Leviathan, which included 3 members of Goo Balls. So that's how it goes down. Sometimes the behind the scenes is a little bit more chaotic than expected, but Jake, as you take a look at this, a lot of familiar faces.
Yeah, and honestly, for Fearless Furies, as much as they've been that number 3 team looking in a little bit from the outside on that top 2 money match spot, this is, I think, their best chance yet to get it through. However, as much as Leviathan's a pug team, like, the name value on this team to me is actually pretty impressive. And we've seen many times in Night Shift how sometimes just bringing together these high skill players, being a little bit more flippant maybe with the style you're going to play and just going for comfort picks, strong style, playing aggressive tempo, it can look really sick, especially with, as you said, like Gun Holiday being top meta right now. Like, for me, there's a lot of opportunity for just individual mechanical outplay to really win the day. And so I think there's a real chance that Leviathan could actually go through to our money match against Abrahams.
Jason, as you're looking at here, to me, I think the interesting thing is that with the shakeup of post Trolley tournament, one of the players to me that is just showing to be a consistent mainstay, regardless of which team, but active in competition, it's got to be OCs.
Yeah, so I've actually been taking a look at like the Twitch streamers as of late this last week, in particular at OCs. I mean, he was at like 13 viewers earlier in the week, and he spiked up to like 100 to 200 views. He's definitely gaining popularity when it comes to the viewer base of knowing who this player is, and he has been a staple of the previous Gooball's roster of being, all right, OCs, you go get fed. We'll take ABL and DMOV to just kind of buy you some time. And when you get up to like 30, 40,000 souls, which you'll do around the 20-minute mark, it feels like in some games, then you come online and you start to fight with us. I think, though, inherently that does provide some sort of detriment to how he can play in this team if the team doesn't play around that. I think we saw some major differences when you compare Wonder on Ivy and OCs on Ivy, because the Unks didn't allow Wonder to get fed the same way that Gooball's let OCs get fed. And you have to be able to do that for a Mouse 1 player if you want to invest in that as being one of your win conditions of the game. So for me, for them, if you want to see OCs carry the game later on, you got to play around that. And with them not having a ton of practice, I wonder if they will do that or they'll change up the style completely.
Well, as we shift to the opposition, Fearless Furies, one thing of note, Eplifine is now with Leviathan and left Fearless Furies, I think, like 2 days before the tournament. So, again, he was going through a little bit of roster mania, but some mainstays on Fearless Furies are the same. And you'd be remiss, Jake, to be talking about this team without talking about Surgery, where, some of his heroes I'm not the biggest fan of, but the one thing that looked incredible is when Surgery has been able to play the Doorman.
Yeah, it's such a powerful player-hero combination. You get a comfort pick like Doorman. I mean, it's the type of character that really does lend itself to specialist players, right? So people who really want to master it. I mean, there's so much unique tech on this hero. Maybe there will come a day when everybody has a sick Doorman, but for now, I think you really want to have this as a pocket pick. Like, Doorman hasn't been, like the top tier pick. So for me, if you want to get this prio, you can probably get it through for Surgery, and I think that could be a wise move for Fearless Furies. Also, Apocycle on some of these like late game farming carries, the Victor as his featured character here, but really anything that relies on that crazy farm level. This guy's a beast. I mean, the net worth he's able to grab in some of these matches is pretty insane. So he can kind of put the clock on the opponent, right? He hits a certain level of farm and you're just staring down a very difficult team fight. So Fearless Furies, probably our favorites here in the Challenger match, despite the late game roster swap. But this is going to be honestly a pretty competitive one.
I think it has the potential. I think if Empty Dreams and OCs kind of get going overseas, I think there is the potential for me a landslide, but I do hope it's going to be close, man. I want to see some more EU teams. I've been crying whenever we're not broadcasting, wanting to see more EU teams come together. I thought we had it with Gooballs, and then Gooballs got consumed over with Abrahams, but ZP, if I'm not mistaken, the draft's ready, and I want to get into this because I want to see how things have for sure shaken up from this last week. And maybe, just maybe, we'll see a ban on Holiday.
We'll see. And I mean, I think that may be a good guess based on what we've heard. If not a ban, then a first pick. Also, those wondering, what happened to the Mo 1v1? Well, it was a little bit too brutal. This time around, there was a little bit of biting and we couldn't show it. Or more realistically, maybe the players finished the game too early and we couldn't get the replay ID. Personally, I prefer the idea that the violence was far too gratuitous. But first ban, Kelvin, Jake, at least as far as ban prio goes, that part not changing for Fearless Furies.
I actually think it does signal a change, because in the past when Kelvin was like the hero to get first, the number one prio hero in the game, if you were first pick, you wouldn't ban the Kelvin. You would just plan you're going to take it first. To me, this is like further backing up right now the idea that Holiday is that true number one, and an Ivy banned first. So I mean, Fearless Furies,
I like this.
Free reign if they want to take a Holiday here.
I like this though, because I think you take away Ivy because you know Fearless Furies wants Victor, so you give them the choice. Do you want Victor or do you want Holiday now? If they banned out Victor, then they're going to take Holiday. And now you're forcing Fearless Furies to pick one, because we know Appa Cycle on Victor can be ridiculous.
Don't you worry.
On the same note, it's a little interesting. Okay. Oh, I don't love the Inferno's first pick, but it is interesting to me that Leviathan would first ban the Ivy purely because you have OCs, and Ivy has been OC's signature hero over the last few weeks, unless now OC's has gone, whoa, missed me with the Ivy. I just want to get in there and gun Holiday because four-shotting people in the late game is really good. But Jake, Paradox coming in first. I mean, you can run both Paradox and Holiday the way both these heroes are played nowadays.
Yeah, I honestly, I think Holiday is just, for me, the reason it's so broken is that in the early game, you're just like the old Holiday, right? You're a tempo character. You're not actually playing to greed farm, super early into the game. You're getting active and you're playing with a Paradox, and it's really deeper into the game where you start, being more selfish, playing for the true carry style. I'm worried though for a hero like Infernus. I don't think you can really stand toe to toe against Holiday in the late game. Maybe the one vulnerability to Holiday is if you can like get on top of her and burst her, but the mobility with the jump pads, it's so hard to actually, initiate on this hero first with, how adept she is at getting in and getting out. Fearless Furies, they do grab the Shiv though, which has, also been one of those top tier contested picks, like we were saying, regardless of the availability of combos. And if they want the Victor, they could have it as well here. I mean, that's such greed though, if you go Victor with Infernus, right? It's quite a lot of farm characters already in the draft. And so, the Vindicta ensures that now they're at least a little bit more competitive for this like heavy tempo draft. I think that was what we saw from Buff and Jors, right? Is Vindicta, Paradox, Holiday, and almost all 6 heroes playing tempo, and Holiday just scaling to be a monster to carry the end game.
I do worry though, if you get a gun Holiday going, if you fly as Vindicta, I feel like you're just dead. I feel like Holiday's just gonna shoot you out of the sky with headshots. You're already squishy as it is. And then maybe we'll see like the long range that we were discussing quite a bit, the sharpshooter to deal with Vindicta. But obviously you have Yamato who can dive into the backline to deal with her as well. I just don't know if it's going to be more supportive, if it's going to be more like Aiden over in North America, where they'll prioritize damage and prioritize leveling that assassinate fully through. But with the Bebop ban coming through, if I can get my words out, Fearless Furies have no initiate. So I feel like now, are you looking at, you have to pick Mo and Krill?
You would think, because taking out the Bebop is really smart because, you've already kind of prioritized 2 playmakers by getting Paradox Holiday, and then you take out Bebop to remove options for Fearless Furies at the same note. I really do like this opening. Also, just to kind of expand on your thought here, Jason, you know who actually gets it worse from Holiday right now? Not even Vindicta in the air, but you definitely don't want to run a Mina at times against a late game Holiday because you go, I will Nox Nostra. And the Holiday kind of looks up and goes, I will kill you in 3 shots. Like, what are you actually doing? But Jake, Doorman coming in from Leviathan, and they got a little bit frontline with the Yamato.
Yeah, and looks like that's stealing it away from Surgery as well. Which could make, the draft a little bit harder here for Fearless Furies, see where they want to go from now.
This is a lot of utility too for this team. Like the doors, the swaps, the lassos, like you have so much control. I feel like with the roster Leviathan's running already off the bat, this is very hard to deal with for Fearless Furies if you fall behind.
We have a roster change in classic EU fashion. Apparently Arzo is still asleep, so Freemock is coming in for Fearless Furies late in the process. I don't know if that counts as roster mania, but yeah, I mean, that is interesting, right? It's quite late.
10 p.m. over here, man. How are you still sleeping at 10 p.m.?
I am a mere messenger at the moment. I cannot claim to know all the reasonings behind why certain things happen to you, but that's where we're at. Jake, get us back on track. Fearless Furies coming in for, or rather, Geist coming in for Fearless Furies.
No more hiding.
I mean, Geist is interesting. It's a hero we really haven't seen as much of for a little bit here. I am a little bit scared for Geist in this particular matchup because I think she does suffer from, being put in the Doorman ult and kind of like bursted down from low HP. Or just like Holiday kind of being able to play at range with you. It'd be hard to potentially gap close. Fearless Furies, though, they are setting up with like a very brawly draft, like a lot of frontlining and brawling potential here. So maybe they'll be able to like run over the opposition here for Leviathan, but the mobility on Leviathan, I feel like this is a really nice strategic response to the idea of like, oh, you have a really powerful front line that maybe is too deadly for us to go through. Is we're just gonna go around you, right? We're gonna all play mobility. We're gonna hunt and peck at you from all sides. The Mo and Krill could be great at that. Same as Pocket, Doorman, Holiday, Paradox, and then Yamato. You don't really want to initiate on her first, but that kind of feels like your only option when you're running this frontline look. I like the GT as a last pick, though. I think that's going to be crucial in catching people like Pocket and Holiday as they try to escape and they try to, like bail out of an engagement. Maybe GT can be the one to really put that punishment down. And if they can find the lane of sending GT against Pocket, that could maybe be help in the early game, although it might just be GT coming to the mid lane just to slow down what could be a very deadly Paradox Holiday opening lane.
All right, Jason, I'm going to go full Puckett here and put you guys on the spot, starting with you. Who in your mind won this draft?
I think Leviathan. Just the fact that you get Paradox Holiday and you ban Bebop. You basically controlled all the initiates for your team. Fearless Furies have to run at you if they want to have a chance to catch anyone, but you're running up against a Mo and Crew and combo you. You have decent disengage. You have the door as well to get away. Pocket's already slippery. I find it hard to say Fearless Furies wins here when it came to the draft.
Jake, you concur?
Yeah, I agree. I do think there's like a late enough point in the game where Fearless Furies can solve that problem with like Abrams having enough itemization, right? Like I think once you have Phantom Strike on Abrams, once Vindicta has something like Rescue Beam, I think the fight gets a lot more doable for Fearless Furies. And so maybe with the right itemization, they can find it. But I do think you got to give the draft to Leviathan. Like the mobility and the pickoff threat from this draft is insane. Fearless Furies have to have a ridiculously like clean game with very sharp team play, because if you split up on the map, I just think Leviathan are gonna have a really good time kind of running you down, picking off players left, right, and center.
I'll shift this one around though, and now go in the other end. Jason started out last time, so I give this one to you, Jake. If there's a win condition here for Fearless Furies with this draft deal, what are they looking for out of the lane phase in the mid game? Like, what is you have to concoct a scenario that they win with their draft. What is it?
I think there's the real road to victory is just having a pretty respectable laning phase. I think having like just enough of an advantage for this heavy frontline setup to be actually taking Guardians around the map and putting some pressure on the high mobility draft from Leviathan. Because what Leviathan are kind of lacking is characters that really want to like stand in front of towers and stall out pushes and clear waves. They don't have the best tools for that, in my opinion. They have some decent options, but Fearless Furies definitely could, force objectives early, could pressure Guardians with early group ups, and the Great Talon Bird, providing global presence, could give you the snowball to kind of bridge that gap to items like Phantom Strike. But I think it's a more difficult game for the Fearless Furies. I just think if they can execute really perfectly and just deny all these pickoffs, then there's the Holiday in the late game, which we'll see if they have an answer for that. 5 disarming hexes, 6 disarming hexes for Holiday.
The disarming hexes keep going up.
It's going to be OCs. Yeah, invest in the stocks now. But OCs is probably going to be on the Holiday here for this too, which if they feed him the farm, he's going to get fed, and you have to have an answer of preventing him from doing so. I look at Fearless Fury's side. Who's going to be the one solo farming? And I would imagine it's got to be Lady Geist at this point, but I don't know if Lady Geist can hold her own up against an OC's Holiday.
All right, well, the stalling has concluded. The game is about to begin. Leviathan taking on Fearless Furies. Winner goes up against the new King of Europe in the revamped Abrahams. On the mic, it's Jake and Jason.
Thank you very much, GP. As we get into this one, maybe the best chance yet for Fearless Furies to make it into the money match. For Leviathan, they're thrown together. They're a pug team, but they have a draft that is very much on the meta, right? Tons of individual playmaking. Everyone is super comfortable on the character they've selected. And so when it comes to the individual pop-off potential, it's absolutely there. So Fearless Furies, they need to rely on the laning phase and the early roams and then getting into those late game team fights. But there's so many threats, man, like Affliction and Yamato ult and Mo ult. I mean, there's just a lot to navigate for Fearless Furies. As tanky as some of these frontliners are, in my experience, that's just not enough when it comes to trying to tank through overwhelming incoming damage.
I mean, I'm looking at these lanes here, Jake, and I'm looking at this left lane. First of all, Vindicta Shiv Not the matchup I expected. I was maybe thinking towards Vindicta Abrams. God, I'm saying Abrams now too. Just, oh my God, what a God parry up against Flammable there. But I was expecting like that S tier lane to come out. Gives you a lot of control to have a stable lineup. But the mid lane out of Leviathan is just going to be disgusting. Holiday Paradox pair together.
He shot Mo's hand through the sign. I've never seen that actually. Oh my God. I actually think low key this lane is sick. You have Shred from the bird and like a damage tick over time. Pocket has negative spare resist level 1, and then you have Shiv Knives as well. So this Pocket, if you're hitting him with the Shiv Knives and the Crows from Vindicta, this lane could actually become really problematic. And typically Pocket greeds very hard in the laning phase, trying to just desperately farm up that Majestic Leap, and he might be forced into more early game items in this lane.
I think Flammable needs to go on some Ozempic here, make himself a little bit thinner so he can't be shot so easily around these walls and around these corners. But yeah, the thing is, it's still gonna be Flammable. He's still an insanely solid player, and I would imagine he should be relatively fine in lane for the most part. But as you're saying, yeah, if you're Shiv, you're free mock hitting these shots, though I don't know if he expected to necessarily be playing today. Hopefully he's warmed up and ready to go, and he's gonna be going for that rest of shot for the extra sustain when it comes to the lane. Surgery, though, already taken extremely low in that mid lane. And I mean, GET might be good with poke, but I feel like Holiday and Paradox are going to be just a little bit better at it.
Yeah, it's not the first blood you wanted to give out, that is for sure. Nice parry from Geist, okay. But she's still low, and she's still 2v1 in this lane, taking the barrel shot as well. One more bullet, but both Paradox and Holiday had the reload. So for now, Geist is out of this one, but man, if she has to go to base, it's starting to get a little bit scary. ZP throwing down for the prize pool. Much appreciated to our host.
I think that was that a throwdown, ZP, or was that a test?
It was both. I was happily giving my own $5 and also making sure that the link was properly working and wasn't going to the old link.
Man, that's like 2 or 3 Diet Cokes that you gave us for this, man. You're a true man of the people here to make sure it works and to donate into the prize pool. Thank you so much, ZP. We appreciate it instead of the players. Off the bat, though, as we can see, Captain, the extra regen plus close quarters. Again, I was kind of hoping for, you know, the Vindicta here to I don't know, facilitate a strong start for Captain, give them a front line that they can use fairly well. But then again, you do have like a Shiv and Abrams and a Lady Geist. They're gonna have the beefiness they need, but I don't know how well they're gonna play when it comes to Leviathan roaming around in this mid game looking for picks.
A lot of pressure on Infernus in some of these early game trades, but Abrams loves to tank that pressure himself, and Doorman just can't really put the damage down through it. Diving in under the tower here, and it's enough from an auto to take down EPL. That's a big pick for the Infernus, who is an important hero to, I think, get off to a nice start. You really want to get some of those, like that max level afterburn online, get your farm potential going, and seems like this lane with Abrams is really delivering that hot start.
Yeah, I'll give them credit. You know, they're making it work. As we were talking about, or I was talking about expecting a little bit of a different lineup, but as we do see, Coffin getting Pocket extremely low. Empty Dream's just gonna cape himself and cloak away, and Mo and Krill, Flammable, just trying to heal up here with the scorn as much as he can.
Primoc was like one bullet there and somehow just had the sick movement to escape out of that one. But this mid lane, it's going from bad to worse here, man. Like, it's, we talked about this, right? This is the opening 2 picks in your draft. You know this is going to be a dominant lane. I think they put the Geist here as a way to kind of slow the game down and stall it out, but I mean, the stagger is brutal. The reload during that ulti and the swap even thrown in after, and hold on, this counter kill from Surgery actually pretty nice in the mid lane. You wanted a stronger snowball to get rolling here, and I don't know if they're really going to be able to find it. GT's looking for the second.
Oh, going right into his face here for Rake. Looks like he'll survive for now, but eventually going on. OC's picks himself up a double. That must have been from a call bell.
Yeah, slipped it in. And that very lane we're talking about is strong for Fearless Furies. Just gets shut down. The bird coming in. Those some very low targets in this lane. Yamato in particular, she has the ulti. She's going to time this perfect, but no, maybe just in the fog. And in a compromised position, casting that bird, and the punish is immediate here in the mid lane.
Oh. So OC turns that around after going down before, but then Fargarekka's going to be there to do it himself as well. So
Yeah,
pretty much just throwing.
Nice parry from Surgery there on the GT. Like, just before he died, he still got that parry off on the Holiday that allows guys to secure this counter kill. And honestly, trading like this is actually pretty good for Fearless Furies. I mean, you'd kind of expect Holiday Paradox to dominate this lane, but net worth wise, it's pretty much even. I mean, GT's actually doing better in this mid lane.
He's got the stamina to get away from this one. Should be fine. Also the pressure from Captain, looking to force him back. I mean, they're doing some okay damage, but not enough to actually kill anyone. I think there's a little bit too much survivability. As Double does go into Yano, pops that Shroud Transformation, looking for the Flying Strike yet again here, and again, close the distance, but now he's taking a lot of damage from the Walker, or from the Walker, the Guardian. That'd be really deep if he's taking damage from the Walker. This will be fine. Going to retreat away with the rest of the shot to hopefully heal back up more, as the combo has gone in on the other side of the map.
Shiv's too tanky. The snipe is good. Big connection, and Coffin with the follow-up there. And so lanes are actually starting to look pretty nice for Fearless Furies. Still the net worth lead pretty much all tied up. I mean, this has just been a bloodbath of an early game, though. So many kills across every lane. Everybody fighting. Everybody knows they really want to get that hot start. They really want to, you know, start this tempo off. Mo gonna bully Vin back from the tower. No surprise here. That Healbane already being online is a nice find. Geist is diving super deep, trying to get some more out of this, but has already used that swap. Wait, the legend moving. Oh my goodness. And the trade from Surgical. Okay, that is so nasty. That's one of the cleanest escapes we've seen here on DLNS. Wow, okay.
They won't be so lucky next time.
I wish I saw it. Good old Italian internet here, preventing me from seeing the crazy jukes, though I assumed he was going to go down. Doesn't have swap anymore. 5.1 thousand souls, though. I mean, if we talk about the soul allocation and currently the way the game stands, it's a decent lead here for Fearless Furies, especially if they can get these Guardians as well to turn it into some of these flex slots. Obviously don't need it just yet, but being allowed to rotate around the map, getting these Guardians down initially would be a huge win for them.
Man, this side lane is just constant kills back and forth, like absolutely no stability for either team. This lane, though, has been pretty decisive. Shiv, Vindicta, their tower is almost completely full HP. Mid lane remains on a knife's edge, though. I mean, Holiday's so low. This is like one arrow shot from GT, and it just does not feel good staying in lane low HP against Great Talon. I mean, you just can't really play the game, and so wisely, OC is going to take that boost back to base.
I'm curious about builds, though, and what he's going to be going for. I'm assuming it's just going to be like a standard gun heavy build, going towards that glass cannon, get the extra attack speed as well. We just see Mo looking for a cash here. He does have combo up, though not really a great priority target. Instead, he's going to be going for Captain, and Captain, I mean, he's just going to shrug it off. It's Abrams. He's big, he's tanky, and he's got horns. Oh my god, he has Overseas Head.
Just comes down like a ton of bricks there on the doorman. Now GT showed up in this lane. GT wants to get active, wants to participate in some of these fights. I mean, he's got that rapid recharge. Look at this build, all damage right now. I mean, this is a very early power spike from the Great Talon. Immediate counter pressure coming in mid. Leviathan wants to punish for this rotate, but the damage may have been done. Yeah, Mo's down, Guardian dropped. And I mean, it's kind of like all fighting from here on out for the Great Talon. It's a hero that, you know, was super popular, right, for a long time in DLNS, but has actually not been played as much recently.
Yeah, I mean, I really don't remember what even caused that to happen. I remember we had Great Talon being banned constantly every single match, considering the burst damage he could do. Zalasso has come in, and Fargo Echo should be saying goodnight here. No way you're going to get any movement out of this one. And it's just been very back and forth, I feel like, in this mid lane. It almost feels like they're just getting extra aggressive and cocky because they just want to battle it out.
Yeah, both teams are absolutely not backing down. Fearless Furies have opened up moderate net worth lead here, though. Definitely one that they're going to be happy about for this stage of the game. That kill in the side lane on Ayano opens up the counter side Guardian take. But meanwhile, Vindicta is just happily free farming in left lane. Now she's going to roam maybe over and start sealing some jungle camps.
I do wonder, who are they leaving to solo farm, though? Because it was Coffin, as we saw previously, just trying to push out the left-hand side to get the wave in towards the Walker. Fargo Echo, you got to be careful. He does have swap, but has no way to close the distance here. Looks like he will escape for now, while a push potentially comes in towards the mid lane, looking for that Guardian, which is about half HP. And honestly, like, the Leviathan haven't really positioned themselves well when it comes to these objectives on this mid and left-hand side. And the left-hand Guardian's taken almost absolutely zero damage.
It's a very messy fight taking place here in the side lane. Neither team really getting the kills just yet. Overseas on 1 HP. Surgery gets that cleanup here on the GT. And Shiv's in the backline here looking for some executes. Finds one. The snipe comes in from Coffin to find a second. It's pretty much a cleanup from Fearless Furies. Evicting Leviathan out of their jungle. Re-pushing now and bringing a lot of numbers to mid. This could be a mid Guardian take for Fearless Furies. After all the struggle and strife they endured in that mid lane, they held on. They preserved their Guardian. I think they're likely going to be the first team to open that crucial mid Guardian.
Yeah, and considering look at the souls as well. Like Surgery's, getting close to 2K ahead of Rake, who is one of his combatants in the lane. OC's at 10, but again, he's being left to farm up quite a bit here. And Fargareco, I guess he has been punished to 7.1. And it looks like they're going to be the ones to actually take the guard themselves. While in the meantime, OC is going to be the one trying to run the urn across the map here, being chased down by Captain, or at least was looking like it, as he's going to teleport to actually prevent any sort of turn-in. I'm not sure if an urn turn-in would really be worth it right now. I feel like you almost want Fearless Furies to pick it up so then you can use that to take some Guardians, at least in towards middle.
Pocket just going to come in, tank a swap, and get out. Honestly, I think that's kind of value for Pocket, right? You tank the health swap from Lady Geist. That's a very long cooldown ult. Yamato potentially trying to run the urn, but this is absolutely going to be contested. The doorman, though, is he able to just slip it in? No one's there in time. They just weren't ready for that level of pace. I mean, this is the value from doorman. You have to be ready so preemptively on the urn drop if you want to contest it at all.
And I love the adaptations we've seen in the growth of how people play doorman, I swear. I mean, just was it last week, we saw an amazing use. I think it was Gooballs who put a door down above the bridge for the buffs, and then went in towards mid-boss and put another door down. They made mid-boss scream, then they all went through the door and caught out a haze, which I think was together, if I'm not mistaken, on Abraham's. Like the little innovations like that with now obviously the urns as well. It's so cool to see the skill expression you can show with doorman these days.
Guys just got absolutely kidnapped. The swap into the luggage cart, taking him under the walker, and with no health swap, not even a chance to play his way out of this. Freetown Bird in the absolute skybox. We're seeing the dev areas of the map right there. As a lasso under tower, this is not where Vindicta wants to be, but she was too high up in the air. She didn't get walker stomped, and now the counter punch.
I mean, OC's at 13k, still a formidable force, but again, another good pickup here to Fearless Furies. They haven't lengthened the lead too far yet because that urn turning, getting an extra 3k for Leviathan, though Fremont might be getting caught out here. Yeah, there's no way he's going to escape this one. He's going to fall in the wood on two. So at least Leviathan able to take one back for themselves, and they have been able to clean up all those Guardians as well, as there's none left on the map to go. Though I do wonder, what's Flammable doing that deep in the enemy jungle? He's actually going to be taking stuff on the right-hand side, maybe sweep around towards this push on the right to maybe get a kill, because he does have combo available.
Guys, hero that's super happy, though, to siege down walkers. Putting a lot of pressure on. It's going to just go all in, going to die for this walker take, but it's absolutely worth there to clean that one up early. OC's wants to get that counter kill. Should be an easy find unless we get some more movement, but yeah, Fargareco just stalls a little bit, buys a little bit more time on the map for the teammates. Affliction coming in as well as the Yamato, but dodging the power slash is a huge deal here. It's giving Infernus just one little chance to get out of this one, but nonetheless, Affliction just too much damage.
Owl coming through. Oh, catches onto Rig. The +5s in chat here for Surgery. It's kind of funny. I remember seeing him, I think Thursday streaming, and his title was No More Gunman. I think he's starting to invest his time into a couple of different heroes here, and I think we're seeing great talent off to a decent start. His Owls have been pretty damn on point, to be honest, and he is keeping like the Leviathan back. Like I'm actually kind of surprised to see Fearless Furies keep it this close in this game, and not even necessarily close. Like they're winning technically.
Yeah, I mean, I think GT kind of fits as a response to this style, right? I mean, what is so good about this Pocket and Paradox and Holiday is we always see a big dive on mid. Mo tethered in, just absolutely dunked on by Abrams. Surely a mid-walker siege is unrealistic at this point, but maybe they can go clean up a couple sinners, steal a little bit out of the enemy jungle. Definitely a prize you're happy to take here at 14 minutes.
If this was full on glue balls, though, they would have gone for mid-boss here. Oh, Rig's gonna get caught with the charge and blown up. Fremont coming through with the finish. That's another kill. If they keep doing this, if they keep picking up kill after kill and getting these small little advantages, they could easily turn it into a mid-boss at some point to open up
Big Bird.
a bigger lead. And Surgery again. That's like 2 in a row out of him.
Yeah, he's crushing right now, and they're actually turning this into a fight in the mid lane. Here's the explosion coming out from Infernus. That's way too much damage for Mo, and this is what we talked about. I didn't think it would happen in this game, but the front line is starting to just obliterate. Here's OC's, though, pretty farmed up, recognizes he needs to participate in this fight. He's got a big bag on him, so he's taking a risk showing up to this engagement, but seems to be profitable for now. Cleans up the Abrams. He's going to live to tell the tale. Holiday at 19k. At this point, you aren't really going to get the luxury of farming much more. Glass cannon on the slot, and this is time now for OCs. The game is still relatively even. We're going to see Holiday getting active. This is the true test for Fearless Furies. What have they prepared to answer this Holiday? Now it's a real problem for them.
Yeah, I mean, I'm looking at Captain at 12k, Fargareco at 13k. and Fremont at 15k. Like their front line isn't really that beefy, and the snowball potential of glass cannon now for OCs can be ridiculous. I'm also looking at Coffin at 12k on Vindicta. You gotta be very careful about your positions, and maybe they're actually going to use this urn as a way to feed OC some kills and to start that snowball that they're going to need to kind of get themselves back in the game. I mean, Flammable, he's on the lowest decon I've ever seen someone be at 9,015, almost 60 minutes in.
OC's being caught right now? Like, what's going on? He's in like 1v6 on the map right now. On that left side, what's going on with OC's on this holiday? Yeah, like the whole team is around him there. He's just a race. He gets out of this. It's illegal. He just forced 5 players to chase him, but I think they should be able to get him. The GT bird is enough. And that's frankly just an overplaying of the hand there. You're the most farm character on your team, but you really can't be going 1v5 like that. You are all damage, and you aren't going to win a trade against the entire opposition. We're seeing big walk-up pressure come in, split across the map.
I think it might have been intentional though, Jake, because he did pull 5 players over in that direction, and you saw Leviathan respond of like, okay, we're just going to push this right-hand lane and get ourselves a free walker. I guess maybe they didn't expect the counter push to come in out of the Furies to take the left-hand walker, because they're also denying the earn turn while all this is happening. But I mean, in the end, yeah, OCs, you don't want to be getting caught out here when you are the majority of your sole income for the team, and let's fight on the mid walker is going to continue.
Abrams doing crazy juice to get out of this one. A lot of pressure coming in to chase him, but he's tanky. Is there going to be help from the teammates? Not enough just yet, but see if Fearless Furies want to get into this one. They are all around on the map. Mo grabs a second, and that takes on Far Greco, who had the ultimate affliction onto Shiv, who's caught as well inside the doorman. Let's see if Infernus can carry this fight. It's going to be pretty much all him on his lonesome. 1 down already. Shiv, no execute to find. You got to earn these kills the legit way here. Honest Shiv gameplay. So far, it's turning into a bit of a bloodbath. Ionos on 1 HP on this Abrams, cannot, or rather on this Infernus, can't take even a little bit more damage, but it's actually Coffin finding the cleanups here on a 5 streak. So Fearless Furies taking the engagement as they wanted it there with Abrams and Geist. They did go down, but they took a lot of damage, a lot of skills on those frontline tanks, and the cleanup did come through.
I think Leviathan are very lucky here, Jake, that right-hand lane was so far pushed up, because Fearless Furies had an easy opportunity for going for mid-boss there. But they were going to lose their base guardians if they did so, giving over not only the control around the map on that right-hand side, but another flex slot to Leviathan. I think if the lanes were a little bit more controlled, we for sure would have seen a mid-boss, and then an urn as well, and then a push here onto the enemy base. It's a little bit of, I want to say a blunder, but I think this is all just like a snowball effect of them pushing that right-hand side when we saw OCs get caught on the left.
It's pretty big that they're able to protect those base guardians. In my opinion, like that fast sip you get from knocking the base guardians is actually pretty valuable, like deceptively important to be able to show up more quickly on that side of the map for the rest of the game. That's never coming back. So now an urn being forced here. Trap on the contest here. Are you going to go for this? Holiday's in first. Oh, you can't do that, OCs. The whole team is not there with you. Gets instantly popped and destroyed by damage. And now you know, Fearless Furies, the gloves come off. They can absolutely hard chase this one. Tether catch onto Yamato as Abrams find the follow-up. Big stuns on players are on the ground. This could turn into a base siege, Jason.
No, Far Greco does take down Apple fine. Surgery's going to be cleaning up the mid lane to shove it out, and you can see the response at a rig to make sure to shove that right-hand lane to buy them some time, but they have to retreat away to make sure, at least for Fearless Furies, they do have the potential to push. Instead, they're finally going for it. They're going to be going for a mid-boss here. They still have to worry about the affliction out of Empty Dreams, who has it available, and OCs has respawn back in as well, so there is a potential for the contest here if they're not quick enough.
They have those great talon traps, though, which I think are pretty nice, make it very awkward to get that parry contest off. See if the players get here in time. Affliction comes in, is not enough. Doorman ulting as well. They're really going to go for this one. Tether is good, pulls players away with the Infernus ultimate. Are they going to be able to get that? 1 crystal does go to the Furies. 2 more to Leviathan, though. They've already started to find the kills. Now it's going to turn into an absolute dogfight here. Big Bird comes in out of surgery. The arrow comes in for another shot, but this GT so low. She has to try to escape out of the fight. Numbers advantage for Leviathan, but it's going back the other way. Ayano still healthy on this Infernus. Has a chance to play his way out of this one. Full HP Infernus could turn into a real problem now. EPL pops that ultimate on Yamato, trying to force it down, trying to take down Ayano, but Ayano, guys, both still healthy. Despite the numbers advantage, I feel like Fearless Furies still have something to say in this engagement. Pocket over the top. Great movement there to be deployed. And without the ultimate, yeah, Geist just tries to play away out of this one, just tries to slip back under the defense of that walker.
I don't even know how Leviathan, oh my god, they're actually going to come out with the man advantage here if they do take down Ayano.
Maybe. This is a risk. This is a big risk for Yamato right now. Yeah, she went a little bit too deep. She did get that parry off, though. Has enough debuff resistance to get that off. Pretty huge, but the burn is still good enough, and the spawns are coming in, and Leviathan overplayed that chase.
I still don't even know how they actually got it to their advantage or even kept things equal, considering Fearless Furies were on that mid buff for such a long time. They ended up stealing away 2 of the crystals. I guess a little bit squishier for Fearless Furies if you have to group up with Ayano and Surgery and Coffin all together on the mid boss. A little swap comes through out of Rake, trying to take down Coffin. And here comes the bird to buy him some time for his teammate to escape. It doesn't matter. Osis gets the kill, and that's going to be more importantly stacks for his glass cannon.
Absolute bloodbath. But in all the trades, it does lead to a soul status where it's a favored earn for Leviathan. So this should be a relatively comfortable turn in. Fearless Furies, if they want to contest this, it will be potentially a 5-on-6 as Empty Dream's going to be up a little bit quicker. It's all about OCs really in these fights. I mean, I feel like Holiday has to get so much done, but he's just public enemy #1. There's going to be so much pressure on him. So many players looking for the kills. Doorman earn turn in. It's going to be good. They cart one away. Abrams getting comboed in deep. But the ultimate from Infernus just barely dodged. Great Warpstone from Mo to get out of that one. Ayano's down. That's a key source of damage. Fearless Furies tried to contest this and may have bitten off way more than they can chew. One execute comes in though. Shiv has the resets. Might still have something to say in this engagement, although he's incredibly low, being chased down by many members of Leviathan. Warpstone is good, but not good enough. 2-for-1 trade plus earn and out. Maybe more to be had on the cards here. GT desperately trying to get out of that one. A swap comes in, trying to catch that GT. Vindicta clearing lanes on the outside. Has no interest in coming to this fight, Coffin. They already know this one's over. Just a matter of trying to escape.
I don't get how Leviathan keep doing this though, Jake. They weren't in position in mid-boss, and yet they still traded equally. They're able to get the earn plus kills on the back of that. They get 3 kills, and they were behind over 10k at that point. And yet the comeback mechanics helping them and pulling them within now 7,000 souls. I mean, Applefine, his build is interesting. I don't know. I feel like he's... What's the identity of this Yamato right now? I mean, you have double shields, but you don't really have like torment pulse. You don't have much spirit power. You don't have much. I mean, you have express shot with some gun damage, but
he's definitely all in on gun, more or less. So this was like gun plus tankiness. I mean, I do like if you're gonna go for like a value spirit item. I do feel like Spirit Strike is actually great on Yamato because you can get those guaranteed melees off, or at least you don't risk being parried when you're ulting. And that does, although it steals resistance, spirit resistance from the enemy, and usually we think about that as like, oh, it's shred. It's also tankiness, right? For Yamato herself, who, you know, there's a lot of spirit damage incoming on her. She can get some of that extra spirit tankiness, have a little bit of threat on the power slashes, but still mostly going to be focusing on gun with that build, and has been forced to build a ton of defensive items, frankly, just to survive in these engagements. I mean, she's kind of solo frontlining, so.
Exactly. I think that's the key note there too to take away from that, is that Applefine's kind of adapted his build to be more of the one to soak the damage, because they need that, as you're saying, with Rake, with Overseas, with Empty Dreams, with OCs. They need that kind of help. And Flammable looking to get the catch. You can hear Coffin immediately fly away, realizing there's a Mo on his heels. But this push on the right-hand side, I mean, there's no objective to take unless you really plan to push up towards these base Guardians. And no one's counter-pushing any of these lanes at the same time. I think they would have sent a full 6-man push on this right-hand lane.
Shiv was dancing with death there, just barely warps them away. Great talent getting the full scout on absolutely everyone there with the bird. So Fearless Furies, they know the status of this one. They want to force it first, getting some good damage on the OCs early. This hero is not taking to a lot of damage, but not very tanky. EPL fine though, still finds that burst, and Fargreco just couldn't get the ultimate off in time. And now OC's gonna grab the reset, so Fargreco just thought, hey, put a lot of damage on the Holiday. That'll be good enough to start the team fight. I'll get a swap on somebody else. Just didn't take into account the flank from EPL fine to clear out that Geist and burst her down. I mean, hard Geist game, frankly, right? With all the mobility, there's not really an easy swap on the field for you. I mean, maybe Mo if he makes a mistake, but then if you come close to a Mo on low HP, you could just buy yourself combo to death.
Yep. I like this also. This vision that Empty Dreams is giving his team, because they need to get engaged themselves and not run into a trap. And well, speaking of trap, it's going to be a catch on a captain. He's going to fall instantly with all 6 there. And they're going to continue to push for this one. I think they're looking for their walkers in towards this middle lane. We still have a little bit of time left before the mid-boss respawns back in, but they're going to be getting catch after catch here. Shiv trying to get away from this one, and Freeback might have just bitten off more than you can chew. The push is still coming through with OC's leading the charge to the last, so it's going to connect. How did that land on a Surgery?
Absolute max distance, and here's that gun damage being pumped in. Holiday, though, maybe has gone a little bit too deep, has to slip out of this one. Geist not doing enough damage for now. OC's is out of the engagement. Fearless Furies may still be wanting to fight this. There's a lot of low targets on the side of Leviathan. And Infernus just can't quite get the kills just yet. Needs to find some kills. Needs to get some Healbane procs to heal up and stay alive in this fight. The burns are good. They get the kill onto OCs. Infernus somehow gets out of that one. Fearless Furies are dancing with death, but they keep doubling down on these low numbers engagements, and they're making it work. Swap used out from Fargreco, just gets him a little bit of HP. Survives just a couple seconds longer. And Furnace, not even in this fight, right? Trying to get back in. Fargreco just dueling it out on low HP, essentially alone here on the Geist. Has 10 stacks Berserker, though, so you know, don't think it's just an easy kill.
Well, here we go. Call bell. Okay. Well,
Nice
I guess
cart.
he's enough here for overseas. The cart, yeah, like coming through, doing some work. And they do eventually get the man advantage here, albeit just one. And mid boss is spawning in about 10 seconds time, which means realistically, if you're Leviathan, do you want to go for it? With 45 seconds left on Fargreco, there definitely is the chance.
This game has just been so close, like throughout. You know, there's like never been a moment where either team has had a comfortable lead. Just a little disrespectful bird in the enemy base. Just, hey,
What's the cooldown right now on Surgery's Owl? Because
usually pretty
he might
low.
be going the Owl build.
Yeah, I mean, usually you just naturally want to build a lot of CDR on Great Talon. Like your all your damage kind of comes from cooldowns.
Oh my god.
So he might even go Transcendent soon.
55-second cooldown, and he spends like a good amount of time using it too. Like very, very frustrating. The spirit sap though that he's got, I don't know how well.
Oh my god, the Dorman's
I
getting
guess it
so
kind of
many
works
urns
for
this game.
Amplifine.
This is like so many urns have gone for the Leviathan. This is their third urn of the game, maybe fourth. I mean, I think they've gotten them all, or maybe all but one. I mean, it's just been so many times the Doorman has made the difference. So now both teams kind of feeling each other out. Fearless Furies now 10k souls behind. They kind of want to play this one a little bit more cautiously, a little bit more patiently. Abrams defending a Walker crash on the other side of the lane. There's an opportunity to look for something, but with the wave crashing as well on the Leviathan base, seems like both teams just content to clear out some of these fresh jungle spawns.
Oh man, OC's at 36,000.
It's getting problematic. It's getting scary.
Yeah.
I mean, Vamper is probably the next
sharpshooter.
buy. I think Vamper is kind of a game changer for Holiday at this phase of the game, right? She's got the blood tributes, she's pretty tanky. Glass cannon, lucky shot. You have no damage issues, very far from it.
I'll just add the Vamp Burst on Holiday. I mean, yeah, it's good for the comeback potential, but also it just removes like a period where even with active reload, you're not shooting. You can just go in with Vamp Burst, and
I mean, it's a significant DPS boost, and it's making you a lot tankier because you're just healing up off that damage, right? So you're able to just stand toe to toe against some of these heavy frontliners who have been kind of running OCs down. I mean, they know the threat that Holiday poses. This guided owl from the skybox though has proven so valuable. Pocket hits an affliction on 4, but it costs him his life. Will that be enough in this team fight? Baroness casted here on the Infernus, trying to get out of this one, get back to the teammates and give them some support. OC's dropping a little bit low, has a little bit of pressure on him. Iono's trying to find something to do in this team fight, goes in deep with the ultimate, stuns 2. That's going to be some good value. Doorman trying to get out of this one. But it's a 2 for 0 right now for the Furies, despite being down in the net worth. They're keeping this fight very much in contest. And a burn, maybe Mo could be in trouble here. One more burn from Infernus should be enough for the kill.
Oh yeah, he's a dead boy here, and that's obviously mid boss still available too. But the thing is, you still have to deal with Amplifine. You get a Shadow Transform, gets swapped as well though to Fargreco to try to buy some extra time here to potentially get the kill on towards him. And Overseas and Rake now the 2 left alive against the 5 for Fearless Furies. This almost should be a guaranteed mid boss take.
Yeah,
And they're gonna go back and retreat for it. This is smart.
I mean, this is a tough call for Infernus. Like, to be this low HP doing mid boss feels really scary. I think he just goes for that Fortitude buy just to like survive a little longer. He needs to not take any damage from the mid boss, so he gets his Fortitude proc. Super important. But they have the frontliners to tank it, and in the end, it's just a numbers advantage, as you said. But Pocket will be back. I don't think he's gonna have his affliction up in time. I mean, this would be such a desperate attempt for a parry. Here's Doorman, has to do something completely absurd. They dodge the Luggage Cart for now. 2 crystals already good, and a third as well as 2 huge kills. That could be the backbreaker. This game has been back and forth throughout, but Fearless Furies finally clean up a mid boss with 3 clean rejuves and 2 crucial players to the defense shut down. I mean, there's no Doorman like door into fountain plays. There's no Pocket affliction coming in. This is all signs point to Siege. Fearless Fury is going to grab quick heals on some of their backliners and get right into taking this base.
Bro, Coffin is somehow spiked up in souls. I think with the Assassinate, you saw he was carrying around, I think it was like 1,500 souls there at 29,000 overall. Also, something I wanted to mention that Ayano, he's gone for the dash build. You got the extra charge or rapid recharge in there as well. We haven't seen this build often anymore these days. It's usually go for catalyst and the afterburn as your build up, but he wants that survivability and the chase down, I want to say, to be able to catch it against Leviathan, considering you don't have any sort of initiate other than holding W. But the first trine's gonna go down, the second's gonna fall as well, and if they get any more picks here, I think there's a real world they could close this game out right now.
I think somebody got lassoed there. Might have been the Abrams, though, one of the few characters who can just soak that damage and shrug it off. Patron to be dropped here. Fearless Furies still fighting this one. Coffin is on absolute 1 HP. Does not want to overstay his welcome here. And Infernus, like you said, that dash build should be out of this one. And I don't think there's going to be any punished kills for Leviathan. This is a chance for Fearless Furies. They can reset their HP, get everyone back to full, and they still have a rejuve if they want to go for the game end here.
Man, this game has been so back and forth. Leviathan, after finally getting the lead, Fearless Furies take it back with like the back-to-back team fight kills, plus the mid-boss being taken with the kills they got on top of that. I think you take Urn here, and it should almost be guaranteed, unless Leviathan fights you. But then again, you're going to be running with 3 crystals, so it should be a fight that you can take, and you also have to set up around, and more importantly, prevent Leviathan from getting, which I think Captain might be heading that direction to pick up here once shoving out these lanes. But look at Overseas here. He's actually really deep considering where the rest of his team is.
Yeah, Leviathan, I think they want to get some kind of fight going outside of the base, but they're just not finding the chances yet. I mean, if you let Fearless Furies just get on top of the Patron, you're going to be in huge trouble. Here's Mo diving in. Was that a counterspell? Oh, the combo just wasn't even online. It was just enough to block and heal. 2 kills already found. OC's, no, actually, he slipped away from that one. Didn't go down just yet. Jerry is in trouble fighting that Infernus. 2 crystals down for Fearless Furies. But if you get OCs, that's enough of a prize. That glass cannon shattering. Losing some of the stacks is not going to matter, though, because this is the end of the game. Fearless Furies cleaning up Leviathan, brawling so long into this game, and finally your winning moment here. Leviathan, only 2 players left alive. Empty Dreams, he's out of this one. He knows there's no hope. Fearless Furies are going to be going on to the money match for, I believe, the first time here in Night Shift, finally, and they had to earn their place here, man. This was a knockdown drag out. One of the most entertaining challenger matches I can remember here in EU.
Fearless Furies finally getting over the hump, getting into the money match, and doing so with a draft that a lot of people, both in chat and on our broadcast, we looked at it and, you know, we kind of had to conceive of, okay, maybe there are ways they can be in this game, because on paper, looking back at this year, Jason, it felt like this was a very Leviathan-centered draft.
Yeah, I feel like it kind of should have been a draft for them and a match that they were able to win. I mean, they had everything going their way. They had OCs getting farmed up. They had all the pick potential with a Mo, with a Paradox. You had Doorman to assist with a Holiday. I think everything did go their way, but I think maybe cockiness ended up getting to them. Thinking back to how the early game started, especially in that middle lane, we did have an initial kill for the side of Leviathan. But then they just started to just hold W and run into the enemy team for some reason, trying to actually put their foot down and kind of stomp the lane and eventually being turned out on. I mean, you got to give credit to a couple of different players on this Fearless Furies team, like Captain, for instance, able to really become a frontline brick wall for them, but also Sergi on his great talent. I mean, I think Sergi did a phenomenal job early on in that game with that GT, with the ultimates, to pick up a lot of early kills, but also more importantly, kind of have that pressure around the map that you could never feel safe on the other side.
The late game global presence there from the great talent, just always being way up in the skybox, you know, kind of scouting everything out. Not only is that sometimes leading to kills, but at this level of play, like getting the full scout on an enemy team without risking a player's life is pretty insane. I mean, I think that's one of the reasons we saw Calico picked, but you're getting some of that same value out of GT, but much more control, much more raw spirit burst in being able to punish some of these, you know, squishy but highly mobile characters like Pocket and Holiday, who you didn't really get to play their game. I feel like they really struggled with, I mean, we were worried like, hey, is there enough lockdown to stop these players? But the itemization was good enough, the catches were there, and ultimately the front line was able to force their will. I think, as we said though, I mean, this early game with the Holiday Paradox, it looked just terrifying. It looked like, okay, this is going to be, you know, a dead to rights domination in the mid lane. But it turned into kind of a trade fest. And I think the thing with Holiday Paradox is it's such a strong lane. Trading isn't good enough. You need to have a more dominant lane. And for me, the only dominant lane was really Shiv and Vindicta, which I don't know if it's a lane I've seen before, but I kind of liked it.
The interesting thing to me, Jason, is I go back and think about how this game developed, where I think the first sign that this may not go according to script was just the fact that this game was effectively even going up into the mid game. And in fact, Fearless Furies themselves had a pretty good lead from the get-go. Like, yes, Leviathan was able to bring it back, and it looked like Leviathan was potentially going to run away with things because, you had the late game scaling from characters like Holiday. But, overall, Fearless Furies, I think a lot of people, when looking at the draft and looking at the pedigree of both teams, wouldn't have expected Fearless Furies to be ahead at the points of the game they were ahead at the beginning to begin with.
Yeah, I think I think Arzo might be looking for a new team soon, and Fremont might be being picked up here for Fearless Furies. But no, I look at some of these clips, right? And I'm looking at OCs. I'm thinking back to that contest we just saw a few moments ago. His big play on the left-hand side where he got caught out by 5 players, tried to escape, but eventually did die. I almost feel like he wasn't trying to his fullest extent because of some of these plays, but I might be misjudging it. Maybe there was like a tactical reason for every single one of the deaths that he had, because he's currently sitting on 9. I don't remember OCs ever dying this much when looking at Goo Balls playing, even in their losses.
So I have an explanation for that, and Jake, maybe you agree, but I do think, okay, Holiday does have a lot of evasive options, but OCs has also seemingly spent like 50% of their competitive time in recent memory on Ivy. And you talk about a character with a lot of escapes, Ivy would be pretty well up there between Stone Form and ability to airdrop. Like, Ivy's a really difficult kill, and I sometimes wonder when you shift from a character that has so many ways of getting out of bad situations and you go to a character that, has a little bit less get out of jail free cards, if, some of those habits catch up with you.
Yeah, same with his Mina too, right? Like the single on retreat was definitely one of the things he used quite consistently to pull off these amazing escapes, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, I think Holiday has a little bit of that too, right? With the jump pads and the extra air strafing power that lets you kind of outplay opponents and, slip away. I just think this ultimately comes down to team play. Like, I think Fearless Furies just had a much more cohesive game. They had a more clear, strategy as a unit. And as strong as all the individuals on Leviathan were, they just gave up way too many pickups because Fearless Furies, every time you come close to them, Captain was picking you off with the Abrams. We're worried there's not enough catch. I mean, Captain found it so many times. I think Coffin had a monster game on Vindicta, even more so when you look at these stats. That's crazy work on Vindicta. 11 kills, 22 assists, basically in almost every kill of the game, and only 3 deaths. So a huge performance from Coffin here. Give him a lot of credit there. But the draft, we were worried about Fearless Furies. They have all these pieces, but will they play together? Will they have that perfect team play? But they absolutely passed that test against this Leviathan team of many strong individual heroes, but not as much in the way of grouped up team fight around objectives.
Also, Jason, I got another player to nominate here, especially given the fact that they came in quite literally last minute. I think Fremont had a great game on the Shiv. I mean, Shiv is one of those characters where it's easy to underrate in the sense that, Shiv is usually going to do well, but you really notice when a Shiv is having a good game, and you absolutely notice when a Shiv is having a bad game. So Fremont being able to come in and just be very stable the whole game long, put on a very good performance, I think was crucial to kind of tying everything together.
I believe as well he maybe slightly altered his build to facilitate what was happening in the game, because normally you would max your knives first, and I believe even you max your dash, and then you go with your killing blow, your ultimate last. But I believe he actually maxed that second because they were skirmishing so often that the reset potential of him would allow them to snowball, or at least help snowball some of these fights. I'm not 100% sure on that he ended up doing that, but I remember looking around the 23,000 souls, he did max that out. And I think that also made him extra impactful in these fights. I mean, 11 kills, 19 assists, more importantly. I think he definitely did a wonder, considering we have no idea how much time he had to warm up before this game.
Yeah, definitely a very clutch sub. This is actually, I believe it's the build Together made on Shiv. This is a build I like playing a lot of Shiv, or I did for a while, and I was using this build too, where you just get 1 point in the knives, if any, for the laning phase, but he didn't go the rapid recharge, so he's not really building around the knives. He's just building around kind of being a tanky monster, hitting you with his dashes, and then just being unkillable, applying healbane to people, and surviving long enough to the team fight that you're getting infinite executes. So you're not setting up those executes necessarily yourself with the daggers the way a different build might, but you're just saying, hey, other people are going to do that frontline damage. Other people are going to get those catches. I'm just going to make sure we secure all those finished kills, and I'm going to be unkillable. I mean, he's got debuff remover, counterspell, warp stone, and Veilwalker, which is kind of an obscene level of 3k survivability items. But with all 4 together, he could play his way out of almost anything, right? Only 4 deaths across the game. also sick moves from him. I think especially on the individual playmaking, the mobility is a huge skill check on Shiv that Fremont absolutely passed this game.
All right, Jason, it's time to talk about our MVP. I know this was a tough choice because you really could give it to multiple different players here in Fearless Furies, but I want you to go up now and defend why the MVP choice isn't a form of nepotism.
I don't know who the MVP was. CP, I'm not sure.
It was Captain, the guy with the name that's very similar to your last name. That was the joke that we were going
Kaplan
for.
Is what we're calling him here. Yeah, I think considering he wasn't in a quote-unquote S-tier lane, if you think back to how the game started, him and Infernus Ayano did a fairly good job of surviving the lane, but not even just surviving the lane. I think they technically won that lane, which was quite surprising, to be honest. It's not easy these days playing in Abrams, but the initiates he did, the warpstone into charges were great as well. He ended up picking up Phantom Strike too to really get in towards that front hand line. I think just all in all, I mean, pretty solid play that with what you need of like a tanky front line for the team that also provided a lot of utility with like the control he was pulling off.
Yeah, I think Captain, I mean, so many times throughout the game found crucial pickoffs and setups. Like, it was kind of on him this game to be getting a lot of these catches on high mobility targets. I mean, he was able to find Pocket. He was able to find Holiday. I mean, these are not easy catches. Like, I love this play. Backs in, pulls the enemies in a little bit too deep. The support comes here from the team, and the clapback is immense. So, I mean, this catch on the Holiday was pretty backbreaking, right? This was a moment where OC's starting to get out of control, looks strong, but just gets absolutely clapped by the Abrams. So the team play amazing here. And honestly, like this Yamato versus Abrams matchup, especially in the lane, kind of look decent for the Abrams, because like you can go for that power slash, but then you're just going to get pinned out of it by the Abrams. So we even saw that later here at this clip as well. But I think that laning phase actually looked pretty sick. Like I kind of liked it. All right, this catch, backbreaking. Like that Pocket had no right to be caught. And it's just a Phantom Strike into a charge out of the Majestic Leap. I mean, that's crazy. I feel like Pocket, usually when you get the leap off, you're home free. Like no one's stopping you.
Can I challenge production after we see these brackets of running back that OC's clip of movement right before he got caught by Captain at the urn? Because that was some very sick movement without stamina mastery. But ZP, as we can see here, and I think Jake pointed out, which was honestly surprising and a very good point I didn't think about, Fearless Furies for the first time making it into the money match, though they are playing against the team that always denies them that chance.
I mean, yeah, this is a team that's the super team of EU right now. It's the newly rebuilt and revamped Abrahams. It's a scary opponent.
Abrahams is channeling all the vibes of old school Hydra Nation right now of, okay, you know, tournament troubles, no problem. Let's just rebuild with the best players all around. Also, I mean, the interesting storyline of, okay, we're parting ways with ABL, and then 2 weeks pass, it's like, we're announcing our new player ABL, but this time with D-Mob. So, yeah, I mean, that kind of went all over the place. But I think we're going to get your replay, Jason. And, yeah, I mean, to break it down here, I think what this was just a bunch of, like, well-timed corner jumps, effectively. They're going here. And
I have a question for you guys, since I don't know how many you guys are like longtime Source players. Jason, so do you know about like how the air strafing mechanic works in Source?
Of course.
Like,
bro, of course.
Like
I did surf maps all the time.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, so I've never done it with Holiday, but I know how that works.
Jump pad gives you like buffs air control, so it allows you to do like much tighter corner turns. Like it's equivalent to like a surf map where you actually have like a much higher air excel, so you can do a really like the crazy, you know, tiny like hairpin turns with the strafe. You can kind of do that on Holiday with the jump pad. So it's pretty sick to see like players really pushing the skill ceiling on the movement system. I think seeing more of that like Source inspired movement in Deadlock for me is a real joy. I think that's one of those things that is a gift that'll keep on giving. I think even many years down the line, we're going to be looking at these insane movement plays in Deadlock as one of the peak expressions of the game skill.
Give me a custom map or like a set of custom maps that are like jump maps or like surf maps in Deadlock.
Like KZ,
oh my god.
Yeah.
I think some of them do exist now, by the way. I may be wrong, but I think there are at least like prototypes of them now. But we do have to take a break. When we come back, it's going to be the money match. The new super team Abrahams reinvigorated up against Fearless Furies, who surprised in the challenging match. Who's going to take home the money at the end? Well, you got to stay tuned to find out. We're back here in the night shift. It's time for the EU Money Match. ZP here with Jake and Jason, and gentlemen, now we get to see how super the super team really is. The new final roster for Abrahams, well, for this week, up against Fearless Furies, which, you know, they had to revamp the roster on the fly. They had one player that was sleeping way too late. They had another player just leave their roster for their competition. But all in all, they get through the challenging match and they get to go up against the new Abrahams. So, you know, Jake, who knows what to expect?
what is that they say? Difficult times make strong people. Furies have been growing in strength here, and Fremont looked amazing, right? For coming in on subbing off the bench, you wouldn't know it. The way this team played, the way they rallied around the shiv, and even like the heavy frontliner draft they went for, all looks great for me. That being said, the skill on this Abraham's roster is frankly terrifying. I will say they had some absurd ringers last week too that are also insanely good players, and so. Okay, like I don't know how much better they are going to be than last week, but they were already pretty fearsome then.
Yeah. I don't know. I think who Novi Kim are good. I don't know if they're ABL DMOV good. If we're to compare them like 2 versus 2, but I mean you're definitely right. I think
Hoot absolutely is.
Yeah.
I mean, you cannot kick Hoot out there, but
I think though.
I mean, Obakim is more of a support player. It's like in theory a harder player to come in as a ringer if you're like a support, you're making like big calls, and that's how you're having your impact. As a ringer, that's just not going to fit as well. Bringing in just like players who play more of a carry role, can kind of like play their own game. It's a little bit more direct, I think, to have a successful entrance into a tournament as a ringer, to just like, hey, go your best character and pop off and carry the game. You don't have to talk, like that's kind of what you want when it comes to who's going to slot in here as a ringer. But as you were saying, ABL and DMOV, really powerful wombo combo. I think the reason they're here together on this team is because these two wanted to play together. That was their priority. They both respect each other as some of the top players here in European Deadlock, and you can understand why. I mean, these guys play almost everything, and they always look good.
And if I'm not mistaken, DMOV gets to speak Russian too. Actually, I think they're all Russian or speak Russian together. So that really helps out DMOV, who's been just communicating in English the entire time with Buff and Joyers. And I mean, you're kind of seeing the impact that DMOV had on Buff and Joyers too, because they still have yet to return into the night shift, meaning he's that hard of a player to replace. And they're struggling to find someone who can kind of match how good of a player and how well-rounded and consistent he was. That even when Buff and Joyers come back, I just don't know if they can take on the team like Abraham's for a few weeks, if not potentially months. But also, I mean, thinking about how this roster can play out together, I feel like it's always been like him and Saf being the front line for the team. And now with like ABL and DMOV on the roster, I think it gives them a little bit more flexibility and takes a little bit more pressure off of his shoulders to be that front line for the team when they're running that. But I think the real pressure comes into Sonya Sniper, who's going to be taking over, I would assume, the M1 hero role for the team. And I mean, when Jam Side was a good player, but I feel like these days, if you want to be a good team in the long run, not to mention just right now, you have to have a good M1 player. And I think the pressure is definitely going to be on his shoulders.
And of course, the opposition, we just saw them one match ago. It's going to be the Fearless Furies, where again, the roster, this has changed from the last roster slide we just had, because we didn't know Fremont was coming in to sub. We had we had Arzo up there, who maybe has woken up now. I actually don't know if Fremont's going to be in again, but given that the fact that we saw Fremont play a really good shiv, and the fact that Fremont is also another player that has been a staple in EU competition, maybe not seen as much recently, but you go back to the beginning of the year, Fremont was a key player on some of those Aegis Aurora squads that did really well. Maybe a little bit artificially enhanced by Kenny F, but overall, still, you needed a team around all that to make it work. So interested to see what Fearless Furies could do here. Certainly not a team that you could prep for, because if you don't know what roster you're going to play, Jake, surely your opposition has no idea either.
Yeah, it's definitely. I mean, I honestly, I don't think that that Abrahams are going to be too worried about what Fearless Furies wants to bring. I think Abrahams are such a good team; they're just going to like focus on playing their game, getting the best draft they can play, and taking over. Right? Like, I think that's. If you're worried too much about countering what the opposition are doing, I think you're falling behind in a game like Deadlock. You have to be taking initiative. You have to have a vision for how the game is going to play it out. That's what Fearless Furies were able to bring last game, right? With this sort of a more solid deathball composition, and the execution was just much cleaner than their opposition. They were able to find a ton of pickoffs on those high mobility characters. However, if you just run back that last match against Abrahams, I just feel like the difference in skill between Abraham's ability to pilot those highly individualistic characters, like maybe ABL in the pocket just isn't getting caught there. Maybe Sonya on the holiday is just living a bit longer and, more accustomed to playing kind of that solo M1 style where you need to get out of a dangerous engagement based on his experience playing Wraith. So Abrahams, I think this is should be a really solid match for them, one where they can really put a showing on. And it's a great thing to have as a kind of, well, not exactly a new team, but as a team post shuffle to build some confidence going ahead to a potentially rebuilding Buff and Joyer.
Also, before we get into the draft, it is worth noting that all the prize pool here today is essentially funded by our patrons, our subs, and you can directly add more to it by the !donate link in chat. Right now, it's at $1,200 total, $600 per region.
$1,205.
Yeah, $12.5. That's right. I added $5. Part as a test to make sure everything was working, but also to contribute to the prize pool myself. But the draft is underway, and kind of interesting here. Holiday just getting banned outright, so the holiday priority continues to go up. Jason,
I want to ask Jake a question. Actually, I think if we're all brutally honest, on paper, Abrahams should wipe the floor with Fearless Furies. Now, thinking back to your OWL days, or even before that, right? When you were playing a team that maybe you knew you were better than, did you go into those games with the same amount of respect that you would against, like the Korean Cloud9 or whatever, like a team that you know was going to give you a tough challenge? Or do you then go in that game focused on your own play style? Like, how did you approach those games where you knew you should win and you have the confidence that you will win?
I will say the brutal truth is that, especially if you think, because it's way beyond just understanding a team as a whole. Like at this level where players really know each other, they're like playing ranked all the time. They've like played against each other all the time. They have a feeling for each other. If you think there's like a couple players on the opposition team are weak, that's the scariest thing as an opponent, because it's not just, oh, we're a better team, we'll just play our game and win, which can be true. But if you think there's vulnerabilities in the opposition, you exploit those to the maximum. You don't focus the best player on their team. You focus the worst player on their team, and you just kill them over and over and over again, and then play from a 5v6. So that's the hardest thing to do when you're playing a strong team is, if you're struggling at all in a game and you're getting focus fired, things go from bad to worse. And so depending on if Abrams senses that vulnerability, I mean, I don't know, like I'm not on this level individually as a player, so I wouldn't be able to tell you like where Abrahams are going to poke the hardest, but any kind of crack that opens up in the team, any player who has like a weak game could really get focus fired.
So I need to jump in and say, draft-wise, before we go down that rabbit hole any further, Kelvin has been given up. Abrahams has said, okay, we're actually fine with you giving up the Kelvin, and they're giving up now likely Ivy and Paradox going in here because they want to secure the Yamato for ABL. Jason, as I'm looking at this, well, yes, Abrahams may be going in with the better team roster on paper. Draft-wise, to me, this is giving up a lot of power for a partial comfort pick in the Yamato. And yeah, I mean, Infernus is meta, but okay, they still get the Paradox here. I do wonder about that, the prioing of Vindicta over Paradox when you had the opportunity for Fearless Furies.
Especially considering who's going to pilot it. You're giving Paradox to Taz right now. That's a scary move.
Well, either you give Paradox to Taz, or they pick Fearless Furies picks Paradox, and Abrahams gives Bebop to Demov.
Yeah,
or Taz.
yeah.
I think
that's true. That's true. You can't really avoid players like Taz getting something they want, but I do think Paradox is kind of the number one initiator right now, and I think Taz may be one of the best players in the world on the character. I mean, definitely is Bebop. One of the best.
They're gonna ban Bebop. Ban Bebop is actually so good here because they're not gonna pick it, I don't think, at this point. And Fearless Furies, okay.
Actually, okay.
Is Captain?
I respect that. Captain was kind of the GOAT on Abrams last game. Like the pickoffs he was able to find, and like the openings to so many of these fights, shutting down some of these high mobility characters. Like, if you're thinking about getting any kind of like a pocket here for Abrahams, any kind of like high mobility carry hero, you might want to take away some of that hard stun potential, right? Abrams in the late game with the Phantom Strike, Coffin kind of rushed it last game. He had it before 30 minutes, which, I mean, he had a pretty good game and a lot of kills, but he priored that earlier than some other builds might have. So I kind of like the idea of banning that out in terms of that's respect for Fearless Furies, right? That's respect for Captain. And honestly, I think it's a smart one considering Abrahams, they love some of these high mobility carries like Pocket. And I mean, used to play a lot of GT, although I think you're right. Likely it's going to be an ABL Yamato just because that's been really his calling card for the last few weeks.
Jason, do you see the Freemock hit right now between getting the Shiv ban early on and the Viscous ban after? It's going after Freemock Zero Pool. It's effectively putting Freemock on Mo and Krill, is it not?
I'm not sure, honestly. I've kind of like forgotten what Freemock's played because he hasn't really been around in the scene too often, at least in our matches. I know for like the Viscous pick, Demol is going to be more than happy to play Viscous and allows ABL to be even more aggressive on the Yamato. But for Freemock, I believe he also did play a lot of Vindicta in the past. Though I don't know if he's going to be picking up for this roster in particular. But I do kind of respect Abraham's here taking away the shift and the Abrams, knowing it was so successful for them in the last game. And it's forcing some different picks like Billy and even now with Sinclair coming through out of the Furies, which I believe Sinclair would be played by Freemock.
You know, Jake, as you take a look at how this one is developing, you know, Abraham's, a lot of their picks in the beginning, you know, making a lot of sense. They go for the comfort pick with ABL on Yamato, but probably across all of NAU, the one team that values Yamato the highest, they still get Paradox in the end. And also, if this was the idea of we hate Freemock in particular, well, they just picked up the bow and curl, so now I have no idea what Freemock is going to play, because this feels like a John level just crime that we're seeing here, where John got like ultra hard targeted in NA a while back.
Yeah, I think that's partially the case, although I do think that, especially after the new heroes dropped, I think a lot of players have like expanded their pools. One thing I will say is that Abrahams are not exactly all in on Infernus carrying the game, but this is a very early game tempo heavy draft. Like, they've gone with basically solo carry Infernus. I mean, Yamato can somewhat be that if you do snowball the game. However, the Fearless Furies so far, we'll see what their sixth pick is. It's going to be a Bebop. Fearless Furies actually have a very good draft for making a comeback team fight happen. I don't think the laning phase is bad, but I think having like Kelvin, Billy, Ivy, to me, you get like the, Abrahams is ahead. They're trying to like force some fight, force some objective. You get a big Billy ult to set up for like, you got Rabbit Hex, you got Tether from Vindicta, you got Kelvin Dome, you got Ivy bringing the damage. That's a super scary threat, no matter what the net worth status of the game is. I guess Yamato could shrug it all off, right, with the Shadow Transformation. Maybe that's going to be part of the key. But Fearless Furies, I think even if they fall behind this game, they have win cons and they can still threaten in big team fights. Abrahams need to find these pickoffs. They need to play split. But that was kind of the same game we saw last series, and the Fearless Furies were able to grab the win. So I like that they're sticking to their guns. Obviously, I still think Abrahams are going to be the heavy favorite in this game. I still think they're going to be able to close it out. But I think if I were Fearless Furies, I would have gone the same direction. Have some sick team fight, have some sick comeback potential, and some pretty nice lanes. I mean, Sinclair usually just crushes wherever lane he goes. I'm very curious to see is it going to be like a Sinclair Bebop lane? I mean, it's actually kind of hard to guess what the setup is going to be for the Furies here.
Also, I'm seeing some chatter in chat wondering, where's Puckett? Well, Puckett has been the international man of mystery. He's been doing international Call of Duty lands. He's been doing a lot of traveling. And based on Twitter, I think he got stranded in an airport for like 24 hours the other day because air travel in the U.S. has not been particularly good as of late due to happening. So, yeah,
don't lie. Puckett is still stuck in his viscous outfit from 2 weeks ago. He has not been able to find the zipper to get out of it.
We can't talk about that. Like, we have to pay for the jaws of life to go over the Puckett's house.
He's still trying to make a mouth hole for it. He's trying to get enough sustenance.
Look, it's been a thing. We're reasonably sure Puckett will survive. But yeah, look, if you want to focus on happy things, you can also donate to the prize pool. Does that help Puckett? Probably not. Does it help our players get a little bit more money if they win? Absolutely, with the exclamation point donate link. So that is there. And you may be wondering, why are they stalling? Why are we not in game? Well, in classic fashion, we just had an update while we've been going on here. I don't think it was a major update, but yeah, there's an update at the moment, so we're waiting.
Almost a nice percent.
We don't like that graph. Hopefully, it'll be a short downtime here. Hopefully, see what it's looking like if our players are the ones affected by this. But we'll have to see.
I have a topic though.
Hit me with it.
I have a topic we can discuss. So I think I have to correct the question I was asking because it wasn't quite the answer I was looking for before, like while we're getting to draft. The angle I was going for when I discussed like when your team go into a match that you maybe know you're better than a team. One thing I noticed in esports, I think primarily in CS, I saw this a lot, is that teams would be on paper way better than their opponent, but would for some reason, instead of playing their own game, they would play down to their opponents, like to their opponent's style, and the game would become a lot more difficult than it should be. I think that's the angle I was looking for, and how maybe your time as a pro player, Jake, you kind of approach matches for situations like this where you know you should be better than. Did you find you and your team playing down to their opponents? Were you able to maintain playing your own style, or how did you have to balance between the two to make sure you get that dub?
Yeah, I mean, I think that's the scary thing, because if you kind of make a disrespectful read of a team and you think, look, they're not even really a contender, we can kind of do whatever and we're still going to get the win. The moment you start thinking that way is a moment you're really caught in a trap of your own making, right? I think if you're playing smart and just trying to like keep that pressure on areas where you think your opponents have a weakness, I think that ends up being a strength. But you're right to say, like, especially given these drafts, like if you get overconfident, and like we've seen this from Abraham's before, right? Forcing naked mid bosses. I mean, it tends to work out for them because the execution, especially with the Yamato, is just so good. Like they just hit every parry and they take the mid boss. They just go for those team fights. However, Fearless Furies have a really scary draft when it comes to forcing objectives without proper preparation. So if Abrahams are, I think, you know, a little like they love playing risky. That almost is the way that they play, is like big forced team fights early and trying to blow the game wide open. But I think if Fearless Furies can kind of hold their nerve and navigate deep into those team fights, you know, outlast something like the Yamato ultimate, you know, live through the Mo and Krill combo, you know, there's a real team fight to be had here, and there's a lot of playmaking potential to hit back on the other side. So for Abrahams, I don't know that they're going to stop forcing those early mid bosses. I feel like that's what they do, and they're usually right about it. I can't criticize the results, but it is scary given these drafts.
Did you know that night shift production is quite literally in your head? Or at the very least, that's what Llama is Live feels. Going to chat testimonials as we wait for the servers to be ready. Quote, one time I got high and watched Night Shift and I thought the whole stream was interactive because whenever I thought about wanting to check someone's POV, they would switch to it. LOL. No. That had nothing to do with whatever you're doing afterwards. You were just one of our small test subjects where we were beaming directly into your brain. And we were able to just adapt to your preferences. But yeah, that's the type of stuff going on behind the scenes. It's in the fine print, believe me. But the game is about to be underway. Jason, Jake, please take it away.
We are missing one. I think I've seen this in my ranking games when one player just doesn't connect and the game goes to remake. I wonder if this may be the Steam issues. Abraham's 5v6. I wouldn't bet on them in a 5v6. I will say. I think this match is a little too close for that.
And I have to say, Llama is Live. We did find your mental search history, and you got to clean that shit up, man. That's not good. What we found was not great.
It was literally 7 out of 10 on the Jason scale, with 10 being full Jason, and you don't want to go there. Like this is never your Jason. Yeah.
Viper Pregnancy Enjoyer doesn't even come close to what we found going on in your head. But yeah, so it looks like we will have to go for a remake here while things are being sorted on the Steam servers end. I feel like maybe the devs are watching us, and just every time that something like this happens to CSGO Live, they're just like, how can we mess with them? And every time they push a patch, they're just like, that's what Yoshi's doing in his office.
Actually, the part that's going to blow people's minds is people keep memeing it, but what if the new Buff Endurers player was actually Metro? Like everyone's just going like, Metro, when's he gonna play? But it's all gonna be fun and games until Buff Endurers shows up.
Give him the
Zoom in on me, production.
Give him the one.
Give me the solo camera shot here. I mean, like Steve Jobs this up real quick.
You're
when we
so
get this
Steve
zooming going.
You're so Steve Jobs.
Oh boy.
I'm waiting for you, production. I know you got it, Solomon. He's working on it.
You've caught production unawares.
I got my delete button ready to go. Who of you out there, who in their right mind would think that Metro was the new 6 on Buff Enjoyers? Are you kidding me? I just like hitting this button, to be honest. I don't know what else to go. I'm a little bit scared to keep going on this, to be honest. But come on.
That they want the Metro builds. Like they're gonna fire Lightbringer, and every single member of Buff Enjoyers will be using a Metro approved item build for this new iteration of the Buff Enjoyers.
If you want a Metro build, just go look up the Line Pro builds. They're about the same, okay?
You didn't have to do them that hard.
Shots fired.
Like,
Shots fired. That was a little harsh. That was a little harsh. I'm sorry.
There's tiering to this. Line Pro builds, God bless his soul. Like Line Pro, great guy, but he was putting like rapid recharge on heroes that didn't have abilities with charges on them at the very end. Like, and it was some of the most popular builds on the ladder.
That goes so hard. Just stylish rapid recharge for no value. Just flexing on them, buying some items that don't do anything. I'm just getting the purple investment, guys. Getting the spirit investment.
I mean, now I don't even think
that
you
was
can
before
buy
that was there, wasn't it? I think.
Sergeant
Miles coming in with the $20. Big shout out to you. I love this Go XLR, by the way. I love the fact that I can hit this button and just sound so stupid.
The more ridiculous part is how you've loaded up that thing with like all these different voice clips, some of which would absolutely like get you thrown off the air, and you're like, that's fine. I just enjoy having like the nuclear career destruction button on my desk.
if we get $50 in donation before we head into game or break, I have a special new button that I can hit that you already know what it is that I've clicked out from one of our prior shows that I probably should not be hitting, but I am a big seller for money.
No. Also, people mentioning Deadlock 2 as a patch. Well, you have to realize it was 5v5. So if you do want to like speed run future things, Deadlock 2 now on night shift, we're just really accelerating through. Hitbox changes coming a month from now.
Metro's in chat and he's just question mark.
Oh my god. Shots fired, shots hit.
Oh, you know why the shots are fired? Because he really is on Buff Enjoyers. Making fun of my builds on it.
All right, we're in, baby.
Yeah, okay, I'm gonna focus on game. I'm not gonna talk about what I was gonna say.
Let's start the game. All right.
Okay, I need to stop reading chat here, Jake. ABL, wait, no, ABL on Viscous.
Got some heat.
And Dimov on Gunman, or Doorman, and Together on Yamato?
Together is sick on the Yamato. I will say.
ABL sick, though?
That's true. I do think this actually kind of fits, because what else is Together playing in this draft? Right? Together is the signature frontline player, and I think ABL tends to have a wider range. Oh, great parry onto the Doorman here off the rip. Dimov getting a little bit too greedy, and Fearless Fury showing, hey, put some respect on the name. We got a match to play here.
Interesting. I mean, also interesting that Abrahams did invest their first pick for Sonya Sniper right off the bat. I mean, he's going to be the M1 carry for the team. We looked at OCs before and typically wouldn't get like a first pick on Goo Balls. We saw him the last few weeks here. But yeah, this is going to be really, I mean, Tass and Dimov together, their hero pools can kind of overlap pretty well too. It's going to be such a deadly thing to see what could happen in this middle lane. But I'm also curious to see what's ABL going to be doing on Mr. Goo Man himself, because there has been a Goober build that's been circulating. I'm not sure if you've seen this, Jake, though. I hope you have, because I know you're a big Viscous player. That involves like Majestic Leap, Express Shot, Lucky Shot.
Yeah. This is the build, man. Wait, Lucky Shot? Oh, the split shot thing where you like right click from point blank and it deletes people?
No, he wasn't doing that, but like Lucky Shot can proc off of the alt fire from Viscous, and he was showing Disco Virtuoso, one of the OC top players, about it today, and he went like 32 and like 2 in some of his matches against some pretty high ranked players.
It's like the P90 Viscous is back. I miss good old P90 Viscous, and like the old, when they had like the way the old shields work and the Veil Walker, you just delete people, walk around invis and show up and just like kill the whole back line and use the ball to run away. It's such a fun build, but
and he was running Glass Cannon with it as well.
Glass Cannon. Okay, yeah, that's P90 Viscous full out.
I'm hoping to see some of that today when we get Sneaky Golem later on in North America, because you were just deleting people. It was ridiculous. But we do have initial kills coming through, and we're still playing along with ABL again. I mean, I guess technically with him and Dimov and together, there's a really good overlap of heroes they can kind of all three play that allows ABL to flex over to things like Viscous. If I'm not mistaken, this is the first time we're seeing him play Viscous in Night Shift history.
Yeah. I mean, he's always been a player that's been able to pick up anything, so I'm not worried about him. But together, also off to a hot start in this lane, right? 2.6k on the Yamato. It's getting kind of close to that ultimate. Mid lane as well, being just brutally shoved. Dimov, a nice bell, gets the kill around the corner. And I mean, this is what makes Paradox so devastating, guys. This is like, if you want the hot tip on how to crush your games at like a lower elo, just clear the waves hardcore with the Paradox Time Bomb. It's one of the best wave clearing skills in the game at the early levels. And if you just constantly shove waves under tower, the game is so difficult for your opponent. Almost a very good parry attempt there from Saint. Like, that was milliseconds away from parrying the Billy.
Yeah, at least I think this lane's doing decently well so far for Fearless Furies, and they're going to kind of need to, because the mid lane is being shoved quite heavily against them. It's going to be down about half HP here momentarily, but the Sinclair Kelvin lane, I don't know how I feel about Sinclair Kelvin together. I was thinking maybe Kelvin would be paired with someone like Billy, like Captain, so you have like the sustainability for Billy like you normally see Paige do, and then Sinclair would be in the mid lane with Bebop for some poke. But they're playing the lanes a little bit different than what I initially would expect.
Yeah, I would have thought it'd be like Kelvin Billy, and they have a different vision on how to approach it. ABL finds a kill into Surgery. Together also deep behind the tower, and this is proving to be the real weakness of a lane here for the Fearless Furies. Together getting even more damage off. I mean, they're not even backing to buy. Like, the tempo is just so aggressive here. They are in pretty low HP though, and one Vexing Bolt could end up being kind of a problem. Well, Doorman wants to be scaled bad.
Here too.
Trades are good for
A
now.
lot more than I thought they would.
So many parries deployed, but there's 1 HP. It's just enough. Do they have the kill? And the nice combo for the finish. Nice cleanup here. 2 for 1. Thanks for all the primers, guys, and the subs. D-Mob, nice kill on the Bebop. See you, bud. Just a little Bebop space program there.
Good point about the Prime sub, by the way. Since it's a new month, a lot of people need to go check if they have Prime available. They can hit us with the sub. We've got some sub goals coming into mind in the next few weeks / months that you're going to want to help us achieve. I can promise you that, though. I can't tell you what it's going to be. As that's a phenomenal baggage card coming through on a flying Ivy.
He just carted him out of the air. What a catch from D-Mob. That's my buff, bud. You're in the wrong neighborhood. The chain quick melee's here. Oh, and late parry. Is that going to be enough to get him away? Doesn't even try to turn around for any counter damage. It's a little bit of laser connection, but it's not enough. And Taz may have just slipped his way out of this one. That is devastating for the Bebop. Just overdid it on the quick melees. Went for a little too many in a row.
At least they have alleviated the pressure that was originally on them in the mid lane. I think a lot of that is going to be going to Fargareko in particular. Like the Kutsu Bomb. We're talking about the time bombs. Kutsu Bomb as well doing a really good work to make sure you can keep these waves off of your Guardian. And with Tass already low on HP, he's got to be extra careful here to defend against this. As D-Mob goes for the chase, and Ayano doesn't even need Tass to help assist him, and he gets the kill. Uh-oh. Jake. Jake OW just
what a great guy.
That's not you, is
what
it?
a great guy.
Yeah.
Could have just
Favorite sub right here.
Just an awesome person, great supporter, friend of the channel, you might even say.
One of the OG supporters.
Has some bullet shielding. Great catch here. Doorman doesn't have a great way to play his way out of this one unless he can get that door back around the tower, and he just barely does. I completely lied. Me when I spread misinformation on the internet. He does have a great way to get out of this one.
Also, kill happened on the left-hand side. They had to push past their wave to do so, with Captain able to get it. And again, for a guy coming into the team here, when they really needed him, replacing Amplify, and he's doing a great job so far. So Freemak will be on the Vindicta. We didn't touch on that just yet. So going to be right on that, and already at 5.1k souls, though I think he's still going to be going towards like a supporty build, though I'd almost like to see him go towards damage.
Prime sub starting to flow in now. Fresh month, great call, Jason. And this Vexing Bolt has just not been connecting for Coffin. He's missed like the last 3 of them. That's painful in lane. This should be a really powerful skill. Now Bebop and Mo tangling here in the side lanes. Vindicta looking to get those catches, trying to get a chain connection. Can he get it? Around the wall is enough, but you're not really pulling Infernus meaningfully here. So that Billy ult kind of goes by without any value. There's an opportunity here for a counter punch. If Abrahams can get that combo, Vindicta out of the air. Ooh, she's playing high ground.
Oh, what?
She's coming up with the combo. He's climbing.
I don't think I've ever seen someone actually sit up on top of that crane before.
That's kind of sick moves, actually. He was dead to rights if he drops down and gets comboed right there. Could be an attempt for more here.
Who's that on top of the construction site now? As it looks like the D-Mob space program survives yet again here. Ayano back towards base. For Ayano, that's 2 deaths for him already, 5.4 thousand souls. But this mid lane, even though they haven't really done that much damage to the guards, they're applying the pressure when it counts. And that's going to be a kill into Fargareko as well. And that should be the Guardian falling too.
Yeah, I mean, the lanes are starting to get a little bit out of control now. With mid open, that's going to free up players like Taz and D-Mob to get active, to roam, to kind of clean up some of these other walkers. And these lanes, they don't even necessarily need the help, right? You know, over here, it's already Mo and Infernus. Should be clearing that Guardian themselves. Bebop coming in, trying to punish ABL, who's also showed up in this wave, and just an absolute stomping from the goo ball. And now, I mean, Bebop's in trouble. Like, to get around these corners, he's got so many angles to turn, and every one of those is a waiting viscous punch. He's getting a bit of counter damage in, pushing players into the walker, but in the end, Sonya is going to get that cleanup and continue to snowball for Infernus. And the game now in a very dangerous territory. Fearless Furies on the cusp of being blown out on all 3 lanes. 9
to 10k difference 9 minutes in is not easy to come back from. However, taking that Guardian in the mid lane out of Captain is going to be one way to get back into this. I'm definitely going to be looking over towards the buffs, and more importantly, the urn that's going to spawn in. Because I believe if it continues this rate, Fearless Furies are going to have a turn on their side of the map, which would be a very easy way to get a quick 3k souls. And Captain's just going to go down to the shaft transformation power slash there. I think this is like do or die time now for Furies. Like I feel like you almost need this urn to get yourself back into it. If Abrahams get it and they push it to your side of the map and force a fight and win it,
this might legit be a comeback urn. Is it? Wait, it can't be a comeback urn on the very first one, right?
I thought it could. I thought we've had it happen before. I thought they changed that, but it's like 15%.
Oh, I'm not sure. Then I think it is a comeback urn if it's possible. But honestly, I mean, getting the urn pickup is not going to be easy. I think Abrahams are going to be aware of that, and I expect it to be pretty contested when it does drop down here. Billy out a little bit on the lanes, and this is the threat of a Mo and Krill with the lead, right? He is just absolutely unafraid. He knows the damage is completely there behind him. No question about that. And now they're shoving this wave in, and this should be just a free earn here for Abrahams, at least to get the pickup.
Well, we'll find out real soon if it can't be comeback.
Nice snipe.
12k difference. Yep,
Point
there we
blank
go.
Snipe, but isn't enough. The burn coming from Infernus, and the continuation. Here's Paradox, and I mean, Abraham's players are so free to roam, and now they're just showing up to these team fights. It is going to be a disfavored urn. Okay, if Abrahams get this urn turn in, I think it's like honestly GG. Like, is that crazy, Jason?
Yeah.
Like,
No, I don't think it's crazy at all.
If you're doing a like 11-minute aggressive urn turn in, like near the enemy walkers, and they can't stop you, you're in such big trouble.
And they're setting him up. Put the door down. You can see Saint going to be sticking back. And they're going to be going for it here.
Hook, though. I mean, Bebop with a hook could make this scary. You got to be careful. There's also another player coming in as well. They're trying to get this desperately. Trying to get that urn finished. The urn is, wait, it's still on the ground here.
He got dropped.
Team fight takes place. Abraham's just troubling down, bringing players. They did a parry on that Kelvin. Another parry on the Bebop. It's beautiful. And in the chaos, the urn does go in here for Abrahams. They're also able to find kills. Abrahams, they bite up more than they can chew. Billy's coming in with the ult. Here's that attempt here for the comeback team fight. You need to find something here. You need to find these counter kills, but the combo onto Billy is going to buy time for everyone else to retreat.
Bro, Surgery, they need your help here. Is he chasing together? He's on the left-hand side of the map in the enemy jungle himself. In the meantime, a push on towards this walker. Swar Greco honestly making a smart play on this one, realizing that there's no one here to defend it, though it might cost him his life. At least gets the walker down about 25% HP, and he will in fact fall to Demov. Not a horrible trade, but again, you lost like 2 or 3 players. You lost the urn.
I mean, damage on a walker is one thing, but when you can't get the kill and you die for it, it's like now Abrahams can just kind of put a lot of emphasis on keeping the right lane pushed out. I mean, they might as well, because they're probably thinking about sieging a walker pretty soon here. And I mean, you still have a guardian up in the other lane, so it's like it's not easy to just prio and push right lane. So it looks like they're doing that. Maybe they're going to try and catch this Infernus in the side lane. Calvin coming in there, and Billy. Infernus in a bit of trouble, getting a lot of slows. Maybe he doesn't have a flame dash. Kind of caught in a compromised position. Do they have the follow-up here? Do they have the catch? They need this Infernus kill. They are going to find it. Taz is also super low, so this may be Abrahams fighting off a little more than they can chew here. More players coming into this engagement. Taz dodging for now. That stun off the pad is one thing, but it looks like Taz got a shield proc just before that stun. I guess it's the stun from the reactive barrier, so he gets the proc and a parry onto Billy. Oh no, Saint, don't do it like this.
What is that? Is that Demov who came to join the party as well? In the meantime, all this has been all happening together. He's pushed down this left lane walker, and he's so deep in enemy territory. Someone call Owen Wilson. It looks like he's actually gonna escape from this.
They like let him, or maybe he juked them? Like, how did he live here? He's gonna do a little bit of a wave cut here. Proxy the wave, clean up behind. They're just gonna dive in and just force this Guardian, but you need to get off without a huge team-wide punish here. A lot of Abraham's players are pretty low here. Tried to bait the parry out of Taz, but Taz didn't bite there. If we get one more bomb connection, a little bit more damage, that could be a kill onto the Paradox. There it comes in, and a second onto ABL, so Fearless Fury is getting a bit of a comeback team fight. It's not for free, though. Here's Together. Gets a parry, tries a knife, continuing on this engagement. Shadow Transform Pop, hunting down this BO, tries to backdash for a juke. Slipping away from a lot of these abilities. All right. Fancy footwork from Ayano, and that might have gotten him out of dodge.
That was a sick juke, actually, to go backwards like that.
Okay, he's being hunted, though, surely. Movement check, movement check.
Where did he go? Oh, he's behind.
Oh my god! No, the juke! Come on, Bebop. Get out of there, bud. Get out of there. Oh, no.
Oh.
The last shot to finish him off. That is a tragedy for Surgery. Or rather, for Fearless Furies all together. They're getting kills elsewhere. They made so much time with that play. There could be a fight to be had.
almost want to see a repeat or like a replay of that last chase down coming through. But yeah, while this has been happening, there's been kills pretty much across the map on this right hand side. We saw Abraham's go for the push, trying to look for some damage on this walker, but without waves of minions here, they cannot afford to go for it. Instead, ABL is just trying to escape. These are the puddle punches to get that extra momentum. And together, still more than happy on this left hand side to still play aggressive. I mean, they have almost a 20,000 lead 15 minutes in here, Jake. You talk about some like dry mid bosses.
Yeah, this
Could
is
they potentially go for one here?
This is a moment to think about. I mean, I will say with Kelvin Dome, it's kind of insanely risky to even attempt. They're going for the devils. I mean, there's a door here. Doorman, just watching. I just like to watch when they do the sinners. Combo? Somewhere. Oh, and the copying combo. Giving him as good as he's getting, but he's too low HP to make that work. Sinclair goes down. The swap for a second, and that could be the precursor to a mid boss. The other's not here to secure it. Oh, Kelvin Dome was forced by surgery, and he's burning down. I mean, this doesn't look good, man. Maybe the pads, he can play his way out of this one.
Wait, is that a gun, Kelvin? I just saw QSR and I saw Cultist.
Makes sense.
Okay, so his domes are not going to be that effective.
It is surgery, right?
That's
now they're
true.
getting off the mid boss. They're trying to chase down Ivy, who's looking for a bit of harassment. Came in too deep there, too close to the waiting arms of Abraham, who are ready to turn and punish those plays. Yamato's here for the secure. She's gonna go for the ultimate just to guarantee, or they're gonna greed it out. I think they might be right here. No punish to be had. 3 clean rejuves.
Well, the punish.
15k soul lead. This is getting scary. I guess
It will be that right lane
scary.
walker at least. Yeah, it's just getting scary. Oh yeah, it's been scary for a while. I mean, it's only 10k, but the 3 rejuves picked up now for Abraham's. With how skirmishy these fights have been, I don't really see a way for Fearless Furies to get out of this one. I mean, as well as like surgery going for the gun build. I mean, I guess it kind of makes sense, but it also kind of doesn't, because you have an Ivy. So you don't really want to split the farm between you and Fargar Echo when the Ivy needs to get fed up quite a bit to be effective.
I would say there is enough farm on the map, and okay, that's the Siphon Bolts picked up. So that is actually a key power spike here for Kelvin, for Bullet Kelvin. He's going for the committed fighting build. I mean, you could go for a greedier choice here, but I think he just recognizes he needs the fighting potential just to stay alive long enough in these engagements. I mean, it is a little scary, right? You might not even get your dome off the way the fights potentially can go. ABL has that Majestic Leap online. A lot of bullet damage coming in from Viscous. These rooftops, they feel safe, but we'll see how safe they actually are. I mean, right now, Fearless Furies, all they can really do is just defend the mid-walker, and it's not the spot you want to be in a game of Deadlock. Right now, Ivy being hunted down on the opposition side of the map. She's trying to fly away, trying to slip out of this one, but she doesn't have her ultimate anymore. I guess already used it. ABL's going to go for the chase down. Thinks he can call the bluff. Can they get the bullet out of the punch? Not quite enough. Okay, Ivy gets out the TP. They're going to keep hunting this. Together is
Together's there.
Yeah, potentially threatening. And now Ivy is just going to go put what damage on the walker she can, getting a little bit of extra value out of being here. Oh my god, that plays are crazy. I think he got Tesla bulleted off the zip right there while Ivy was shooting the walker.
That was planned. That was like a 400
Absolutely
IQ shot.
part
You
of the
knew
play.
the Tesla would bounce.
I knew I'd proc the Tesla.
Well, we do finally see a push coming through. I just don't know if Fearless Fury is expected to be in all 3 lanes at once. Able to be rejoining the mid lane here to look for this walker. Well, we do see Dimov pushing on the right-hand side, though he has to contend with a Vindicta by Freemok, and of course, Surgery going to be there. And Sonya going to be quickly joining in to help out as well. The door placement's perfect, but not too perfect for Dimov. He gets hooked right in under the walker and stunned up.
Sick pull right there. And that may be enough to take down the first crystal. Surely they can get the catch in the door, man. Oh, to lose that would be a tragedy, but a tragedy so it is. This time it's Saint's turn to get pulled under the walker. He doesn't care. He's just going toe to toe. He's tangoing with that walker. And now as it drops, this is no longer a safe zone for you, Fearless Furies. You got to get back inside the base. You got to try and slip away from this one, but it seems like Abraham's going to let it happen. Going to just bring the bulk of their players over to clean up this final walker out of the map.
23k lead in the last walker in the sights. I mean, you see them immediately back into base. They realize there's no way we can defend that walker. Hell, they could barely defend their base guardians at this rate, though with the rejuve down with a minute of time. You know, they used to have ABL low. Tass is half HP, so is Sonya. So we will finally see the pedal, or the foot taken off the pedal. And the gas relieved here for Abraham's looking to back away, though I don't think Together got the memo.
He's so deep. I don't think you can do this. Yeah, I mean, putting a little bit of counter damage back down. Still has that shadow farm. so can't be disabled just yet, but Crystals, they want to deploy them. They want to get that fight up. Here's the hook deep onto Yamato. That's going to be first crystal down, second as well onto Mo, but they do get the kill onto Surgery, which is very high value at this point. ABL rolling around, trying to just get out of this one, stay alive, keep the lane pushing. As Cube and Bebop's very far out of base. This is a rejuve crystal. I don't think this is the kill you want, and goes for the risky melee. Actually gets it off. Bebop just didn't see that one coming. The Ayano's on 1 HP out of the base. Surely dead to rights here. And that's enough here to potentially drop Shines. So together, forcing the play, but getting value off the crystals, getting the chance to siege the base. This is everything you want from Abrahams.
And the crystals had about like what 20 seconds left when ABL did die. So yeah, very smart play to use it to get to full HP back to continue the push as they take the phase 1 patron down. I don't think they're gonna commit for the fight this time though, with buffs up, with earn available, and with a massive, well, approaching 30 to 40k lead. Fearless Furies are going to go for the attack here on the retreat, realizing they have to make some sort of stand here. And right now, and Fargareco, he's extremely deep here in this fight. He's got the entirety of Abraham's looking to chase him down, but at least gets D-Mob for his trouble so far. Just needs to pull off the escape here. And even a stolen combo coming out of Coffin, but it's not really going to allow them to lock someone down long enough to get the kill.
Burns coming in from Infern is just burning players one after another, keeping that effect up procced on so many players at the same time. And the net worth advantage being felt here. It's a decent start to the fight, but in the end, I think Fearless Furies are running out of gas now. Surgery, no more Dome, cooking down. Team Focus Fire is good. And without the Kelvin, there's no one really left to make this defense. Fremont could maybe throw some snipes in, but just does what he can to clear the way. But there's still creeps here. They're coming into the base, and this could be the end of the game.
Yeah, it should be. Fremont, you might be good, but you're not 1v5 good here. And it will be Abrahams, and I want to say quite an easy fashion, taking the first game, thinking back to the initial earn with a 12k lead. They get the turn and they get kills off the back of that. They didn't stop from there, and they get themselves now 1 game away from winning the Deadlock Night Shift number 14 here, Jake.
Yeah, it's looking like a solid one for them. I want to say I feel like Fearless Furies did a great job of extending out the game in some very difficult moments. You know, the laning phase, though, I think ultimately was just too dominant for Abrahams, right? They came out of the lanes, they won all 3, they started roaming, they started cleaning up the map, and Fearless Furies got into some crazy, like, delayed team fight scenarios, especially against the rejuves, you know, splitting the map well. And they really did pull a lot of wasted time out of Abrahams. But in the end, I think especially in that very final fight of the game, I mean, that looks like a good catch for the Furies, right? They're catching the opponents, getting out of the base with low resources, without rejuve crystals. But Abrahams are just a team that is always willing to take the risk and take the fight because they just believe in their deathmatch, and for good reason, right? They always deliver in those crucial moments.
All right, Abrahams coming in as the favorite and proving to that being the case. All in all, I mean, this was a bit of a stump. There's really no way of sugarcoating it one way or another. It was pretty one-sided the whole way through. Now, I have to ask, though, let's dig a little bit deeper here, Jason. Was this purely mechanical, or was this a little bit based on the draft? You know, if you had to apply some fault here, figure out where things went wrong, where do you throw the blame?
I think it was a mechanic difference. I think draft is obviously a major factor. I think it's more of a factor the higher level you go in play and the closer the teams are, because you can have the teams, you know, get those small advantages and turn into bigger advantages. But the fact that they were almost 10k behind before we were 10 minutes in, and that basically every lane won, I think that comes down to mechanical, not necessarily the hero draft. Though I will say, we were talking about this before, Jake, that some of the lanes we were expected to be a little bit different, like Kelvin and Billy together, instead of seeing Kelvin and, was that Sinclair together?
Yeah, I even more than the draft, I question kind of those lane decisions, right? It's like, you know, for me, I can understand the Ivy in the mid lane because you really need that wave clear against Paradox to have a response to, right, these time bombing and constantly clearing waves. And so I think I don't mind that. I mean, ultimately, though, some of these outplays, like moments like this, you're just like, okay, what do you do about that? Like, that is so sick out of D-Mob. The punish comes in. The squad is there to play around them. And so the Abrahams, not only do they look individually so strong, but the coordination is also top-notch for the group. I just don't see the weakness. I don't see the vulnerability for this team, like the way you get the edge against them. You just have to play a very clean game of Deadlock.
One interesting thing to me in terms of hero pools expanding here is seeing D-Mov lean a little bit more into playing Doorman. Just the fact that I think when you look at how this game evolved, if there was any chance for Fearless Furies to come back, well, the ability to play around Urn, the ability to play around mid boss, you know, things that do get you back in the game, it's so much difficult to do so when you have a doorman getting played at a high level on the team that's already winning, Jake.
Yeah, I mean, I love this play out of the doorman here for Demov, right? And this isn't, I mean, this is actually, it's interesting. I don't think I've seen that much of the Demov doorman, but this kind of makes sense for him as a player. He loves these high mobility, high skill shot, you know, early game tempo spirit heroes, like kind of similar to a Viscus, but right, with a lot more team playmaking potential, right? You're carding into for your allies for the catch. This melee, I mean, I love that actually from ABL. Like, he's got the Reju Crystal and he's dead to rights. You might as well go for it there. If Bebop was ready for that and parries the melee, you know, maybe that's a quicker kill and a more decisive one. But in the end, we're you know, rearranging deck chairs on the Titanic, talking about that phase of the game. You get blitzed out in 3 lanes at once. You're facing out a very difficult game of Deadlock. And I think from there, Fearless Furies actually played pretty well. It was just too difficult of a match to come back in.
I concur.
I'm just saying, it's like, you know, Jason, what are your deep thoughts here? The deep thoughts are just, I concur. Now, of course, it's map 1, so there's no MVP, and there's a way to bounce back. So let's focus on improvement here. And I guess we've already identified part 1 is mechanics, but looking forward to the draft, before we go to a break here, Jason, what do you want to see changed for Fearless Furies going forward?
I don't even know, man. Like, the fact is that Abraham's got Infernus and Yamato off the bat. We thought it was going to be an ABL Yamato. It ended up being a Together Yamato, and they get put ABL on Viscus. So, like, one of the heroes that we saw be banned away from ABL quite consistently last week, it got through, but it wasn't even played by him. And then you obviously have like a couple of different factors in there, like a Shiv, which we did see taken away, I believe, by them as well out of Abraham's to make sure the other team doesn't get it after seeing them play it free mock in the prior game. I don't know if there's a way at the moment that you can ban out Abraham's or like outpick them either necessarily, because they do have a fairly deep pool across the board. I think the only thing I can maybe think of is that you kind of have to get together an together. I don't know. It's like together Demov and ABL. You need to get them on some less than comfortable heroes, but I don't know if you can do that with like the limited window you have to do your picks and bans.
Yeah, I'd say just give me one lane out of Fearless Furies that's like a monster lane that is just like give me one of these like elite tier lanes that gives you a huge edge. If you could just win one lane solidly, even if you lose the other 2 lanes, I feel like there's a much easier road back into the game when you have like a couple players on a very hot early game. I think if Fearless Furies get to that later phase of the game where they're team fighting, they're relying on their coordination, they look like a good team that can actually go toe-to-toe with Abrams. The problem is they got to that point in a way too much of a deficit. So just give me one monster lane and make a decisive winning lane, even if you go 1-2 in the laning score there. And I think there's going to be a much closer game to it. If there's a game 3 in the cards, I think that's how it's going to be done for Fearless Furies. They gotta, if they lose all 3 lanes again, it's just going to be a quick 2-0.
All right, keep it simple. Win a few lanes. Can Fearless Furies do it? They got one more map left at a minimum here on Night Shift EU. When we come back, we'll see who's going to take the money match and then some.
Let's go for a ride. Nice try. Time will set. Let's go for a ride. Sing and sing. Gotta move quick.
Well, they say the stats say everything here on the night shift, and if it was singing a song to you, Jake, what's that song saying based on the stats page?
This is not a song, man. This is a dirge, a funeral dirge for Fearless Furies. 39-12. I mean, the top line score does kind of tell the story. Just way too good up the lanes. Like, everybody snowballed. Everybody had a good game. Sonya, most deaths because, it's Infernus. So, yeah, if you want to hard focus fire the Infernus, you can get that kill, but there's just too much damage coming out of every source in this particular game. Together goes with like a hybrid gun Spirit Yamato. It's kind of an interesting build, actually. I think we've seen more and more people lean gun wise, but together it's still working in a bit of Spirit with that Torment Pulse and the Heal Bane to keep it applied on everyone. So interesting builds out of the squad. ABL with kind of the classic Goober Viscous build with the Majestic Leap and just a lot of crazy nuking. I think this is a very high tempo style that, especially if you snowball a game, hard to beat, just like continuing to put the pressure on.
Jason, just to remind people looking at this, wondering, are the stats bugged? Is something wrong? Kelvin did lose. Like, this is a game where Kelvin was drafted and Kelvin did not win.
True.
Can we production? Can we double check that? Are we for sure that Kelvin did lose here? I'm hearing from production. Yes. Okay. Yeah. I mean, and to be fair, like Kelvin, very strong hero when he gets banned out quite consistently, and you do see him picked when he's not banned. But it still takes more than just Kelvin alone to be able to win games, right? And obviously, I don't know. I still want to bring it back to mechanics here in this one. Like, a Kelvin's not going to save you from being down 10k 10 minutes in. It's not going to save you from these comeback earns as the initial earn. It still takes a team to play around it.
Jason, so you're telling me because Kelvin can't save that Kelvin needs to be buffed? That's what I'm hearing.
Oh yeah, for sure. For sure.
Yeah, exactly. Because we found a scenario where he can lose, therefore he needs buffs. But okay, Jake, not going too down the Kelvin rabbit hole. Like, Kelvin is strong, but is kind of showing here on some level. Yes, you can argue it's for mechanical skill differences or just evolving meta, but it's not quite the R of invincibility that Kelvin had even going back a few weeks ago.
And that may be true. I do think Doorman, it's not a counter to Kelvin, but it does kind of mitigate or at least balance one of Kelvin's biggest strengths, which is to say like doming urns and just getting free urn drops, right? You can, as long as you have that door pre-placed on the urn, you can still threaten the drop off. You can still, get it done yourself, even if Kelvin is threatening to dome or posturing up for it. So I would say if we ran that draft back one more time, if I was the Fearless Furies, I would kind of rather have a support Kelvin, because that's one of the ways to have, I think, a more secured lane that just much more likely to do well. Whereas when you're playing for the carry Kelvin, the payoff is bigger, but it's just a bigger risk, right? You're not as strong in the lane. You're not as much early investment into just tempoing out with Spirit. And Abrahams are going to first ban Infernus.
They want Shiv.
Yeah. I mean,
they didn't have first pick
or they
last
could get a
time.
holiday, I mean, I think they just aren't going to first pick Infernus, and it's going to go against them. I think you're right. Shiv could go. I think Holiday could go. I mean, together Shiv is a monster. I think he's
you got to ban Kelvin
in the game.
In this case. Like, I don't think you want to give up Saint Kelvin is the main thing. Like, you think about the Abraham stuff in the past. Yeah, Fearless Furies would probably grab Shiv on the rebound, but giving that up, that would be all sorts of rough. But okay, Abrahams, we'll see what their number one pick here is going to be. Could be the Holiday, could be Paradox, could be the Shiv. I mean, frankly, I think the fact that Fremont loves playing Shiv, and the fact that together, and Shiv are still, 1-1 together. Yeah, okay. This makes perfect sense to me, Jason.
Talk about a hero that like comes off a hot start and just crushes the game. This is Abraham saying, hey, look, we ran through you in the lanes last time. We're going to pick the hero that arguably has like the most aggressive scaling curve in the game. Once you get that maxed ult, you start showing up to team fights. And if you're already leading, if you're already dominating, Shiv just completely crushes Furies. Snag the Yamato right back. I guess they don't want to be dealing with both Yamato and Shiv. I mean, that's just too much pain coming in from the opposition. So I like that they grab it. I wonder what they're going to go next. This is a really important pick. I don't know that they play the Holiday. Like the way they've been drafting it, it feels like they don't really want the Holiday. And I'm a little worried because I don't think you should give it up. And they are going to go for it, which actually I'm glad that they do pilot the Holiday well enough, because I wouldn't have wanted to see going up against Abrahams with this new Holiday meta build.
I will say though, Jason, as I look at it, while getting Yamato, I mean, Yamato is pretty good. I almost feel like the very early pick of Yamato here from Fearless Furies was more of a deny pick to make sure that you don't give it up for ABL. Because if I'm looking at it from a tactical meta point of view, I actually like the Holiday into Paradox response more, where you force the other team to either pick Bebop or you ban it. I think that opening is really strong, but when you're worried about ABL taking over a game on Yamato, it does change the equation a bit.
I mean, is it going to be ABL taking over the game on Yamato, or is it going to be together taking the game over on Shiv? I think that's the situation you leave yourself in, of what's the lesser evil of the two. With them picking Shiv, you got to take away the Yamato here. I was actually maybe expecting them to go like towards Ivy Paradox initially to take away Ivy from Sonya, because banning out Infernus as a first ban for Abrahams leaves open basically only Ivy for Sonya to play. But he's been able to secure that, and that puts Fearless Furies in a weird position of what M1 hero do you want to be running? And I hate to say
it's Holiday.
Like, rate the option. Is it going to be Holiday?
I think you probably just put him on Holiday, because I think
makes sense.
Your ability to pilot the hero, like, whereas on something like Ivy or Infernus, I'm like less worried about whether the carry players play it, given how recent this new meta shift is for Holiday and how unique Holiday is as a character. I'm kind of interested to see how it goes. Like, I think they were reluctant to draft this hero earlier so far on the two maps they played today. And I think they're doing it now because maybe they feel a little bit forced to. And so this will be a real test for them. Like, can they pilot it? Can they make it look effective? For Abrahams, I think the Ivy is going to be always comfortable, right? Like, when it comes to the macro presence, this hero is just hard to beat. Just shoves lanes, forces responses, pulls players towards the Ivy's position on the map, and then Ivy, tends to get away out of those dangerous spots.
I'm going to call it. I think they go Abrams out of the pick here, because I think Abrahams, they could go with extra frontline. They very well could take the Abrams away, which would be both pick for them and deny pick against Captain. I think for Fearless Furies, they could use a little bit more frontline. Okay, yeah, they go with the Abrams. So they get that set in stone, and I think it's as much of a good pick for them as it was preventing the deny pick coming out from Abrahams, Jason.
I mean, also Captain had a really good game one on it, got our player of the match too on top of that. Yeah, taking away some of the front line of Abrahams, but Viscus is still left open, and AVL hasn't had a hero to play just yet, and it will get locked in here. I'm also curious, Is ABO going to ever break out the pocket again? Because it's been a long time since we've seen him playing pocket.
I actually would hope he plays pocket this game. I think this is a really good. I think you want to take it to both block pick the pocket counter to Shiv, and I think it's actually really good this game. You know, I think like, you've got a lot of initiation and frontline catch. Pocket is a great way to start fights that then, you know, Shiv and Ivy and Viscous can kind of come in and clean up all that affliction damage. They aren't going to take it in these two, though, valuing the Viscous and the Bebop earlier. I think Fearless Fury is like, I mean, do they want the pocket for themselves? I just feel like it would be so sick for ABL here.
They could
I don't
also
think
go
Abraham's is going to play pocket, though. I think D-Mob's going to be on Bebop, and then ABL's going to be on Viscous again, leaving tasks on Paradox. I don't think they can flex the pocket in anymore.
Okay, love the page here. We have two things I wanted to see last game. We talked about like the strength of lanes for Fearless Furies. They've got Abraham's Vindicta if they want to go for it. That's like a classic, really dominant early game lane that's very hard to respond to. Like Tether into Charge is usually just guaranteed kills in the early game, and they have a great frontliner and a great long range poker in that lane. Page as well is like a very sick lane securing hero. I wonder if it'll be like a Page Yamato. So they have two lanes to me that look really sick, and then it looks like maybe Holiday GT in the mid lane. So actually all three lanes look very good to me. I think Abraham's is going to have a tougher laning phase on their hands here.
The one thing that's really interesting to me as I look at this is the absolute death of some of the heroes that you would historically want for scaling if other options are gone. Where right now people go, okay, if I don't get Infernus, Holiday, or Ivy, that's it. I'm going to focus on heroes that give me a different power spike. No one's considering things like a Wraith anymore. They're just saying, nope, hero is not good enough early, and late game is not good enough to really justify picking over other options. And I feel like that's been kind of firmly set in stone now for quite a bit, Jason.
I'm sorry I'm changing topics here, but just it came to my mind. How wild was it seeing Together play Haze last week against Gooballs? Of like all the heroes for him to play, I'm not saying he's gonna play here. It's for certainly gonna be the shit. But I was just thinking, because we didn't get to chat about that, how different of a hero that was for him, because he played it like the normal supporting kind of style with like slowing Hex. But I don't know. That was just like going through my head, and I was just curious what you guys thought. But either way, as we're about to end the game here, ZP, you always ask us, who do we think won the draft? Who do we think's gonna win the game? But why don't you tell us?
You know, draft-wise, I think overall still probably Abraham's, but I don't think it's as good as it is last time. For nothing else, they don't have the Doorman. I think my stealth pick of heroes that carry games right now, Doorman's pretty high up there just because of the ridiculousness that we've seen. So I think at a minimum it is a better draft for Fearless Furies, but still one overall that I think Abraham's has the edge on.
Okay.
The chat Fred says 7% for Fearless Furies, and I'm betting the house on Fearless Furies. This is the chance for the come up of a generation here. I think they're still the heavy underdog. I think they're the heavy underdog, to be clear, but I think they've got a much better draft than last game. I think all three lanes look strong to me. I mean, Abraham's obviously, you got to think they're the favorite in this match. They should be putting up some strength here, but hey, this is a Page Yamato coming down on mid lane. Not going to be an easy matchup to take.
Hey, Jake, just before I fully let you two handle it, I put 2,000 channel points on Fearless Furies. Like, you've convinced me. The odds are too good, man. The odds are too good.
I'm letting everyone in on the secret. All right. I got to let it happen. I got to, that's for the homies. Hopefully the Twitch chat pred is gone by the time everyone hears my analysis, so I can get that max profit. Or maybe it's a failed bet, and everyone's going to be mad at me for giving them bad channel point financial advice.
That's maybe you're just gaming the system here, and you're saying that so that
and
people
actually,
bet on Fearless Furies, and you're exactly.
I'm cooking the books. Look at this.
A little bit of stock manipulation here.
She just do whatever she wants. I mean, Freebach has a nasty lane on his hands, and this is like one of the few ways to really put like a Paradox in the back foot. It's just like run it down on her.
Bro, okay. Again, I thought D-Mob was going to be on Bebop. I still rate him as the best Bebop player in EU. But you have Tass on the team, and then Saint's the one to get it, and D-Mob's going to be playing the Haze here. So I feel like they definitely switched up what D-Mob is playing for the team compared to Buff Enjoyers.
Yeah, definitely. I think Paradox in like the supporting tempo style is one of the hardest characters to play right now in Pro Deadlock, and so I think it's maybe the most important. It goes to somebody who is really confident on the pilot. So for now, to me, this makes a lot of sense. We check in on some of the side lanes. A lot of action in the mid lane, but of course, got to see how Haze is getting her start. Haze, Ivy, I mean, this strikes me as a very defensive lane. And actually, the first kill comes in. Yamato just slightly biting off more than she could chew, going deep under tower, and just gets punished from the consistent pressure out of Abrahams.
Is this going to be a split shot page?
Oh, I hope not. Please God. Okay, Guardian Ward. We got trolled with the quick buy. The first item Guardian Ward is always you might buy the split shot, but I don't think you actually play that way in the game. GT waiting out. The cube here being used to delay. Got a lot of arrow charges. I don't know if you really want to take that smoke on Viscous. ABL going deep, getting to punish the parry. It's good. That's going to get Surgery back out to the Guardian. Give him a comfortable spot to play from and get some of that counter poke down in the lane.
Let me ask you as a Viscous player, with the state of rebuttal right now, is it an item worth buying for the laning phase for the 800 souls? Do you think it's worth it, especially when you're up against a Viscous?
I don't think it's worth, like, really, because I think you still want to just parry the punches. It's insanely good, but I don't think the counter damage is that meaningful. The reason the punches are good is because they knock you up and set up for more damage, as this looks like a very early kill on the GT. Shiv on the chase down. Together, he's way too sharp on this character to miss that kill. Oh, parried.
First buff coming up.
All
right, Fargareco.
Calls AB's
No way.
bluff there. Oh, together. Could get fed another kill. And just deja vu here for the Shiv. No one's hitting the creeps in this lane. No one has hit the creeps for like a minute in this lane.
I had to check if I was having a stroke here, because I was like, sure, the exact same thing just happened, and Surgery will be able to close them out and get the kill. And again, a lot of minions being lost for Abrahams here. Yeah, you get the kills. 3.2 for Together, 2.4 for ABL, but ABL is going to kind of fall behind in this lane a bit because of that.
Twitch chat blew up my bet, man. The odds went to 30.
Oh my God.
Oh no. All right, we'll have to see if it's enough for them to get the win. Fearless Furies. Hey, they're up in souls right now, Jason. Well, now they're not. Now it's even. But you know what? Hey, it's still a much better early game than last time. Much more contested. And I do think this Yamato page, as they get more and more levels, more and more items, this page becomes really hard to respond to. I will say, getting swapped and hooked under tower is one of the few things that even the page shield is just not enough tankiness to really respond to.
I swear, I feel like when I'm playing against Paige, I'm playing like I don't know if you ever played this game. It might actually be older than you are, maybe. The Matrix game, or even I guess Max Payne would even count, where you have the bullet time, just dodging bullets. That's what it always feels like when I play against her, though. I'm a big fat boy and I always seem to hit them all. But together, getting fed like this, and we might talk about souls being relatively equal. Exactly, 4.4k for him. Mystic shot already online. If he continues like this, there's going to be no stopping Together. There's going to be no stopping Abrahams, and they're going to win themselves another 600 minimum.
Yeah, great page ult. Interrupts the bebop. Can they get the counter kill to Sonya? You'd love to find that. Love to stop the Ivy, but they can't get the punish kill. They have to go back because minions are crashing on this Guardian. Abrahams are super low HP around the map, so while Together is onto a monster snowball, there's still a lot of Deadlock to be played. Counter kills coming in the mid lane here. Surgery finding something with that GT bird as Holiday holds down the lane.
Okay, a little captivating read here. Still going to be tasked to defend, though he's low on HP. And looks like the backup going to come through as well here at a Fearless Furies to try to defend, though. Together is going to be fine on the left-hand side. Almost in a 1v2 with ABL not there just yet.
This guy's
and
so
Together,
good,
he just
man.
wants to fight.
I mean, I would too if I were him, man. Off to a really strong start. And actually, I mean, this is a very comfortable matchup for Shiv against GT. Like, that high burst damage is not what you want against the Shiv passive, right? He's going to be able to peel a lot of that off and kind of outlast GT. D-Mob finds a kill in the mid lane, and talk about a strong game so far. I mean, D-Mob, very comfortable soul spot. And this is, I think, the hardest moment of the game for the Haze is like the very, very early game to have a decent enough start to the game where you can actually continue to get active and continue to, you know, show up to team fights with that invis in the mid game and get those ganks you're hoping for. But, you know, off to a decent enough start in this game where I think he's absolutely going to be able to realize that tempo.
Getting denied by a Paige, that's got to hurt more than losing a match like that. I think he lost like 3 or 4.
This could be bad. If he gets in range to execute, it's a kill. Ooh, yeah, that's here. It's going to get him close enough for the finish. What a player, man. Together, arguably one of the best ship players in the world. The counter kills coming in the mid lane. Ayano, Fargreco also died. Or rather, died to the Shiv there as we just watched that. But Iona dying in the mid lane. Yamato should be up next here. No ultimate left, nothing, no gas in the tank, and D-Mob is here to get the cleanup.
What's so weird for me is that looking at Together as a player, what he's doing on Shiv is kind of what he did on Yamato really early on in his career, and then he seemed to have fallen off where others were able to keep playing her to a really high level. I wonder why that fall off happened, and maybe it was just him putting more time into Shiv and knowing the power and what it can provide. But I find it really hard to think of any other Shiv player in EU that matches up to what he can do on Shiv.
I mean, this is one of the best characters in the meta. It's been so for a long time. I mean, there's so much outplay potential with the dash for you know, team play, especially to get the most out of the execute is really powerful. Guardian Ward still available for Pagers, maybe baiting this a little bit. Saint does go down, and so Fearless Furies kind of want this fight in the mid lane. Paige is very close to an ult of her own. Coffin finds Taz, and yeah, that's the mid Guardian going down here. So at least one lane of the map where there's a bit of advantage toward the Fearless Furies. Now, Paige coming over, wants to rotate and deal with this push. A lot of Walker damage being put down. This is a pre-10-minute Walker push. And oh no, Paige, you're in the absolute wrong neighborhood. Gets blasted away by Together, who's looking for more. That execute up in 5 seconds. Remember, somebody is going to be on the other side of a knife sooner rather than later. And it looks to be Vindicta. Tethering Shiv, wise decision to slow down his chase, but yeah, it's just good enough. And the barrier just doesn't make any difference when it comes to the execute. Coffin might have thought he could get out of this one. Oh no, Shiv's looking for more. He's max rage, he's gonna get the double dash. This is not an easy survival. Yeah, and there it goes. Fremont gets deleted, a hook for more.
Oh,
this
no.
game is getting out of control now, Jason.
He's going to give him another one. I mean, Together's got to be closing this one out. Looking for Captain. Captivated Reed has come in to buy him some time. The dash comes through once again. Not to mention the charge to heal up Captain. How many kills has Together got in the same spot, by the way, with that jump pad? And Captain, he's used movement to the best of his ability, but he's still going to fall either way to the help of the bomb. And Together now at 10,000 souls. No one even comes close in this game to him. He's 3K ahead of any other single player on the other team.
Yeah, and Sonya also is just quietly farming up a storm on the Ivy. She's clearing some of the enemy jungle camps. Here's a bird coming into some low players, but instead it's only Taz on the other side of that. Gonna go to tank through it. This game has been super active, so many fights around the map, but that's exactly the style that Shiv and especially, you know, Tempo Viscous, Tempo Haze, they absolutely want to play this way.
Is this Assassinate Max out of Coffin?
I mean,
he's only at 1 point.
He did get a couple points in the bird, so he's not like greeting out of the lanes, which I think is wise considering the team you're up against. Full greeting out of the lanes, wouldn't recommend it against the best team in Europe right now.
Possibly the best team in the world too. I mean, it's been a while since we've seen Sneaky Golem. It's been a while since we've seen them play up against melee creeps, which still has the potential to be our final North America, as well as Bunny with Clock playing up against Sneaky Golem as the initial game. And Together might have finally gotten caught here. He does get the parry though over on the Captain once again, and the dash through. He's actually gonna pick up the first kill, and he's gonna get out with the help of his team. Any cube, anything? Oh my god, ABL saving Together to keep the streak alive.
Oh, it's so beautiful. What a tragic moment here. Now Hayes hunting down for more, gets those stacks of fixation, looking for another connection. Abrams in a tough spot here, caught in the quarter trap, tries to charge his way out of it, but has no chance. And here's the confidence just oozing out of Abrahams, continuing to push forward deeper into the opponent's side of the map. There's walkers to take, there's waves crashing on the Guardian. They don't care. They only want the kills.
Bro, you got like waves to push. They're all still grouped up on this left-hand side of the jungle to look for a fight.
Farm heroes. You don't need to farm creeps. Farm heroes.
That's very true. He's trying to go for the chase down onto Tass.
He's so deep though. And Taz is slipping away. Like there's going to be players coming in for this. The punish is here. Here's Together. Coming off the flank. Doesn't have execute, but you're bleeding out here on the holiday. Cool guys don't even watch their opponents bleed out here. 9 streak for Together. At 11 minutes, he's gonna reach a kill per minute this game, Jason. I'm feeling it. This is getting scary. I mean, it's
been scary, man. What game have you been watching?
it's getting worse. That cube save is like, oh, you thought finally they caught the Shiv, and then he hits a sick parry, turns around for a kill, and somehow gets cubed to walk it off.
And no one can even go up against him anymore. I mean, it's been like that for a while, but no one's been able to deal with him. The 11,000 souls. I mean, Fremont the closest at 10k, but even he has to respect it because of the killing blow. Looks like Tass might be running the urn across the map here while a push happens on the right hand side, looking for a kill into Fremont, potentially a walker with Dimov there. But you know what, we're gonna watch Together, because why wouldn't you watch the star of this match at the moment? And if he doesn't get the player of the match at this rate, I think Jake said he's going to shave his head live on air.
Yeah, I said that for sure. No, my girlfriend would just break up with me, dog. I can't risk that. The hair's all I got. All right, it's all I got.
Well, why is your relationship based entirely on you having hair or not? That's
Whoa,
usually
okay.
so shallow.
Have you seen my hair?
I understand it because my wife wants me to get a hair transplant, and I'm like, I'm fine going bald, but she's not fine with me going bald, which means I have to not be fine with me going bald. So,
Which means Jason is secretly saving for a trip to Turkey fund right now.
oh, I mean, luckily I'm close to it in Italy. It's very possible. If I show up with my head shaved one day, you'll probably know why.
You'd be so Steve Jobs. Optimizing for maximum Steve Jobs. There's here a tower push coming in. D-Mop trying to put a punish down. Gets that ultimate. A lot of fixation stats. Gets pinned out of it, but this Abrams, I mean, there's a lot of stacks on him. He cannot stand toe-to-toe with this haze, continuing to pump damage in. And here's the catch. Saint coming in to assist this cleanup. More players over the top. And who is it but Together to secure the finish kill? Of course it is.
Are we potentially going against Twitch TOS right now with how this match has been going? Like, is this allowed to be viewed?
Illegal activity. There's some illegal activity going on. By the way, the other walker across the map being Siege. Holiday in the wrong neighborhood there. Even Ivy. Sonya's gonna be able to slip out of this one. GT's so desperate for the counter kill, but just can't even get it. I mean, this is the point of the game where you have to try anything. You have to just run down any player you get the chance to. But I mean, look at the HP across the board here from Abrahams. Everyone is healthy. Only Sonya's on the reset. The pressure's overwhelming. I mean, it could go for a mid boss, but why would you? It's 14 minutes into the game. Jason,
Trophy collector picked up for Together because he's getting that many kills. I think we've had more kills per minute in the last 5 minutes than we've had minions per minute killed for Abrahams with how this game's going. He's looking for another one, looking to add stacks to that trophy collector, and he's going to get it, taking down Captain once again. And this pressure on the left-hand side is going to continue. They're going to get that Walker. 2 Walkers sub 15 minutes. I think it would have to be the greatest comeback in the world.
Although Paige, I don't know if you want to defend this Walker. The Walker's very low HP. It's not going to last much longer. Together.
The Walker doesn't want to be there.
He's hungry for those stacks. Yeah, the Walker's requesting a quick speed zip back to base. Request denied. Save for Yamato. Page ult throws good money after bad. Actually can't even get up to the high ground. 0 value out of the Page ult. This is tragic. This is sad. The funeral dirge plays on.
No.
I speak for
ABL, look
everyone
what he's
when I
got
say-
quick buying.
Look, I gotta interject here. This is really important. I've seen enough. Nerf Lash. Thank you.
Magic Carpet. He's got Magic Carpet online, guys. Lock in. Lock in. He needs to just do whatever it takes to farm these trophy collector stacks. See if the,
The trophy collector for TAS too.
Oh my god. They're trophy collector maxing. They're buffing the win rate stat. He's got Majestic Leap Magic Carpet. That's so good.
Wait, can you Majestic Leap while on a magic carpet?
I don't think so, because it like fixes your movement. I don't know, man. We gotta do some Deadlock science here in this game. I mean, honestly, it's not even that crazy to build Magic Carpet. Like, as silly as it sounds, it's not that crazy because like all you need to do it as in this game for Abrahams is just show up to the fights. I mean, the game is so out of control. Yamato has the ulti, but it's not gonna be enough. I mean, the tanking is just ignored. D-Mob just rips the ulti, no stun for that. And more stacks for Together. I mean, honestly, why not? Like, at some point, you hit max as trophy collector, and you have think about the range on Shiv. He's gonna be able to ult you from like across the freaking map. Oh, and they're just sending him in like a bomb, like a heat-seeking missile. I wish they'd take him deep into the base there. And he's got life buff too. Get in there, bro. Get deep under those guardians. Take the 1v4. Like, I'm pretty sure he can do it. I'm pretty sure he can actually.
Even ABL showing some movement here, getting the earned tournament enemy territory. Fargareko's just pushing the left lane because he realized there's nothing they can do. But there's going to be no minions to back him up because they've been cut down by Abrahams to prevent him from getting this damage on towards that Walker. And the push to continue to come through here now out of Abrahams into the base with a magic carpet goo ball.
Where's the damage follow-up? Where's Together? He needs to execute. He's just intelligently sieging the base. I want him to dive deep. Here he goes. Gets a connection. Oh, the dash goes wide, though. That's going to let GT get out of this for now. Execute. Not enough for the kill, but it does allow him to stick onto this Abrams. Skills up in a couple seconds. Abrams knows it, too. He's trying to desperately juke away, get out of range, but it's another stack. And a heal vein kill as well for the Shiv. Holiday trying to get some value. Fargreko trying to put what damage down he can. He pulls ABL into the fountain. There's no mid-boss regions here. This is just a naked base siege. Yamato just doesn't have ulti, and this is getting firmly destructive here together. We got to get a quick trophy collector stat check at this point in the game.
Jake, you're under investigation for channel point manipulation, by the way. People have lost points in the channel off of your recommendation, including myself.
7%. I bet at 7%. Y'all bet at 30. That's all I gotta say. I bet at 7. Y'all bet at 30. We are not the same. We are not the same. That was my risk management strategy, and you guys are like, yeah, they're gonna win for sure. I was betting on it like a 20-to-1 payoff, you fuckers.
He's gonna take your 2K channel points CP to the bank and invest it in his 7th house with the market manipulation that happened this last game.
The truth will come out.
Mid boss being taken because why not?
Again.
I think we're at 10 stacks now for together on his trophy collector.
Oh my god. Sure. Why not? He needs more late game secure here. I mean, fair enough. Honestly, it's probably a good buy when you're destroying like this. ABL just making space with Magic Carpet. Like, legitimately, I think it's a good play. Page goes to the ult, but it's a little off sync because that sleep connect. Oh, it's enough to just get on top of this Page. Another stack for together. Hasn't even lost a real point of HP. Ooh, the hook barely goes wide. Yamato, space created. Going into enemy territory. This is the wrong side of the map, but honestly, it's the type of game you got to make these plays. I've done this play before.
I mean, you see them not even trying to defend anymore. I think they know it's over. We know it's over. Abrahams, they want to get full stacks on the trophy. Oh my god. Full stacks on the trophy collection before they finish off this game.
Abrams, Walker push. Finally, it's a chance to put some counter damage down, but your base may be in a little bit of a tough spot here. Free Mike dying in the mid lane. But you know what, Captain? Will he get his man? The one-on-one of the century. He doesn't really have the damage for this. It's kind of painful. Those blue bars on the right side of the screen, you don't need to watch those. There's no important information there. As the Walker.
He got the Walker.
Walker down. He's got his man. Ladies and gentlemen, we got him. Oh, the parry. Okay, Paige. Doesn't save her. But that's the only thing you're going to do to put a stop to the rampage here from together is parry him. It buys you about a second.
How many kills have we had happen so far for Abrahams? I can't wait to see this on the end of the match screen here. But that's, I mean, they're going to close it out. They're going to take their time, though, making sure to get max stacks on their trophy collector. But Abrahams are going to be taking the victory here in the night shift number 14 and get themselves some extra money in their pockets as well here, Jake. There's nothing the Furies can do about this.
Yeah, I mean, Abrahams, they're just waiting for that Buff Enjoyers rebuild, right? They need a true challenger. This is turning into a death match. No one's even attempting to hit the patron. Abrahams just wants those stacks. We need to get a quick mouse over. What's going on before the patron drops? Shiv, there's still one crystal left, but there's kills to be had. The patron, low prio. Actually, alone.
Jake, I got word from chat. The punishment for channel point manipulation is catsuit cosplay.
Yep, I have heard that.
Everyone wants me in a catsuit. Everyone wants me in a catsuit. Y'all do whatever it takes. Y'all are desperate. Oh my god. Oh my god. They don't have they have one crystal left. Okay, it's going to Shiv, which is actually perfect for Abrahams. Somebody, the creeps, do God's work. We're begging, we're praying for you, troopers. We're praying for you, troopers. Close this one out. Is together has to have surpassed 1 kill per minute. The game's ending. It's going to be what, 21 minutes? Coming up on 22. We'll see. We don't know if the game's ending right now.
The base. 4 more kills, and Sonya's here just trying to close it out by himself. He might even fall for this one though, and no Rejuve to get him back alive once again. Okay, the cavalry's here. They're gonna finish this one off finally. That one trooper, the real MVP, keeping their hopes alive. Saying, guys, should we be hitting this and not them?
All right, 21-20. Game end. We need to check the kills here. 1 kill per minute. I don't know if I've ever seen a 1 kill per minute game in night shift. I mean, that's like should be an impossible threshold for together. You got to ban together Shiv, man. There's too many things you have to ban against Abrahams, but you really have to ban the together Shiv.
Well, of all the finals we've had here on Deadlock Night Shift, this was one of them. Probably one of the most severe beatings we've gotten as the final map of the series, where, look, you know, it's that sort of game when the analysis flies out the window and you're talking about how to punish Jake for market manipulation, you know, as your key talking point.
It's not a good sign. It's not a strong sign for the competitiveness of the match.
Yeah, these
Jake,
things usually go
I
good.
lost my house and had to move back in with my parents. How could you do this? How could you recommend Fearless Furies? I owe channel points to 3 local crime families and owe blood to a witch. I can't believe you told me to spend my channel points.
Stop buying lattes. Make your coffee at home.
The reason why you can't afford a house is your avocado toast. But
It's the avocado toast and the lattes, all right? Those are my key points of financial advice.
And listening to Jake on predictions.
production
I never
thing
give up. I
here,
never
just
give up
going.
my Preds again. you guys are irresponsible.
I just didn't have my camera on the entire time. I was in the darkness. Is what was going on. That's why we were on that screen for that period of time. That was all me. But
I just need to be reminded who won. That's why.
oh yeah, I mean truly. I do want to see the stats screen though. I know like that is the main thing we're waiting for right now is seeing the stats screen before going into MVP because really it's about seeing what the kills were, but we also have some highlights. We got some parries. One of the few times things were looking good for Fearless Furies in the game, but the rest of this, I mean, it gets a little bit ugly. There's one point where ABL is checking random veils and sees Fargareco just cowering before getting executed in one big gooey blast.
Finally.
It's like Death Alley.
That's
for
his one
together.
death, right? Is that his one
Yeah.
death? Oh, that is. Oh, we got a tragedy in slow motion, man. Tragedy in slow mo. Sonya, I mean,
Okay,
like,
he redeemed
I love
himself,
that
though.
Sonya's just like the honest objective taker of this game. Like everyone else at Abraham's is like just absolutely having fun with it, just memeing, going for crazy deathmatch team fights. Sonya doing God's work, keeping the base pushed, sieging things down. You know what? Somebody's got to do it, and who better than the Ivy? Oh, and that's like last.
Oh,
tick,
that cube
too. I
save.
think he gets one more tick, he dies. Because he's ticking from his own bloodletting plus the Vin Crow. I mean, this guy, he just gets lassoed under Walker and takes the fight.
I think the wild thing
Does he die here too? Oh, okay, so 2 deaths.
But when you look at a game like this,
Kind of a
you
weak
could
game.
put
if you
Fearless
think about
Furies.
it. Magic carpet bomb
Gentlemen,
is a
gentlemen.
highlight.
You could put Fearless Furies against most of the teams that exist in Europe, and they would probably do to them what Abraham's just did to them. To me, it shows like the level of skill depth that you have in Deadlock, that you can have all players at the highest level, you know, turn of 6, etc., and still see such a big difference between two teams even at this level. It's just wild how deep the skill curve goes, and oh god, this stats
Together, 24 kills in 21 minutes, but 35% of his sole income came from enemy kills. He wasn't even farming troopers or jungle or objectives. He just was farming kills for his money.
Literally farming enemy heroes.
And 7% of his income came from trophy collector.
Turns out just killing them all is a little bit better than having trophy collector stacks. 24, 2, and 12. That is insane.
Is that the first time we've seen Cheat Death ever bought in this game? For by the way,
Wait,
for
who bought
Demob?
Cheat Death?
Demo did. Why he didn't come close to dying.
No, it's
I don't
perfect
think
because you stay alive longer and you get more trophy stacks. Think about it. It's a
The synergy, Jake.
The synergy.
I want to be clear. I don't think Cheat Death ever procced this game. It felt like a flex buy overall. Flex isn't flex on the opposing team, not in any other.
It's a very
sense of the
flexible
term.
item buy for roaming Haze. I mean, he's also 11-1 and 17. So you know what? Hard to be too critical of pretty much anything that's going on in this game. I mean, this is just Abraham's putting on a show for us. Wait, you know, honestly, they're throwing down the gauntlet. Like Buff and George, where are you at? We're farming this tournament week to week now. I mean, and that's the OG rivalry, right? We need if Abraham's are the villain team hitting this like style kill farming, fountain farming end game, we need to have the heroes of Buff and George back soon to at least put up a challenge against this monster squad together. One of the most dominant, obvious MVP performances we've ever had in the night shift. I mean, disgusting stats, cleaning up the map, dominating the lane, and then just, fountain camping heroes at the end. Like that's pretty hard to do in Deadlock, and he made it work.
You know, to give people an idea, obviously, Together just put on a masterclass with Shiv. But the thing is, even Buff Enjoyers back in the One Win Bombshell Volume 6, I think the latest one we had, Together did the exact same thing to them. Or was it number 5? He did the exact same thing to them, to Virtus Pro. Like, that's how crazy his Shiv can be and how much he can snowball a game when he's given a lead. It doesn't matter how good you are if you're playing against the best team in EU and he can do the exact same thing to them. that's why you see respect bans on a Shiv, and for good reason.
I would say for Together Shiv is effectively, you think about other examples of signature hero players in the game, easily to me on the same level as, say, Ido's Pocket was in NA at one point. It's too good. And part of it is that, I mean, look, there was a period of time where we saw Together play nothing but Shiv for 3 months straight because it wasn't that contested of a pick somehow for a period in Deadlock. And it was always Together on Shiv. It was usually Saint on Kelvin. And what we've learned in recent times is no Kelvin, no problem. Still can make the Shiv work and look absolutely amazing.
ZP Jake, I got to bring in some quick info here from Low2, one of our production team members. First time cheat death's ever been bought in Night Shift, but we've had it 3 times in Fight Night with number 25, 27, 29 with Vegas, Dew, and Lefa. But what I want to know is, were they flex buys too, or was it a legitimate buy out of them then? That's crazy.
Did cheat death used to be better? I feel like it did at some point. Or no, I'm thinking of Soul Rebirth. I'm thinking of Soul Rebirth, actually.
Yeah, Soul Rebirth was great. I mean, look, that got killed right before it became the ultimate meta, because I think the patch right before it got killed, we had one game where it was like 11 out of 12 players had picked Soul Rebirth.
Yeah. That item was absurd. And then they put in the redo, which kind of makes you think. But, I mean, this game, man, the highlights speak for themselves, right? Like, Fearless Furies all on the respawn. Abraham's walking off the patron here. I will say, I think we have a much more stacked and competitive lineup here in the North American matches, but today in European Deadlock, it is just one team running the table. Abraham's trying to build a dynasty with this roster, and they are off to a very threatening start, throwing down the gauntlet to any would-be challengers here from the region.
Jason, Shiv aside, what stood out to you about the new iteration of Abraham's, relative to the Fearless Furies or not? What thoughts do you leave with?
Shiv. No, I'm just kidding. And ABL flexing to a couple of heroes we don't normally see him on, like the Viscous. We only got to see him play Viscous tonight, but I think there's a really interesting dynamic within the team. So we're seeing him flex over to heroes that D-Mob would play, and D-Mob is flex over to heroes that he normally would never play within Buff Enjoyers. And I'm really curious to see how that kind of develops over time for this team, because it's only been about, like a week since they've been on the roster? Yeah, because they weren't on the roster last week. For them to already show these adaptations is really interesting, and I think when Buff Enjoyers get their full squad together, honestly, I think it's going to take them a bit of time before they can take Abraham's down at this rate.
Yeah, I mean, I think the interesting part is that, you had mentioned it earlier, Jason, but the idea of replacing D-Mov, it's not easy. And, Jake, obviously you've come from, competitive play in Overwatch being, 6v6, etc. And, people might go, oh, replacing one player, how big of a deal is it? And, Jake, depending on the player pool, it can be pretty difficult.
I mean, somebody like D-Mov is that's the nightmare scenario, trying to find a replacement. Somebody who can play multiple different roles, different levels of economy allocation, can kind of fill in any draft. It just gives you such a powerful weapon in every single game. You don't know exactly how you're going to use it, but that only makes it stronger, especially in the draft phase. People can't even ban you out. They can't stop you from getting something you're sick at. It's just something you don't have to worry about whatsoever. Finding a player like that, I mean, good luck, frankly. I just think D-Mob, one of the very best players in the game right now. If you had 6 players, the very 6 best players in the world, honestly, for me, D-Mob makes that list. And so, yeah, look, you're never going to feel good trying to replace a player like that. If Buff Enjoyers wants to really take it to this new Abraham's roster, they're going to have to dig deep. They're going to have to maybe develop, right? It's maybe more than just finding a player who's already that good. I don't think that's possible. I think you have to build as a team, but that has always been the Buff Enjoyers way. They've been the team that has built on their team play, that has had really impressive execution, even in the past iterations of Abraham's, where Abraham's had the stronger individual play, was winning their lanes. Buff Enjoyers was still able to get wins from really stellar team play, strategic understanding of the game. And that is actually, I think, more important in Deadlock than your raw mechanical skill. So I do think there are ways back into this for Buff Enjoyers, and I won't count them out just yet. They haven't even had their chance to play with the new roster. I give a lot of respect to the players and the staff on that team for all they've been able to accomplish so far. And I'm just excited to see what they have. Hopefully we have them on next week, because it would be awesome to see them clash against this new and revamped Abraham's team.
All right, so we got an interview before we head off to North America. It's going to be Saint joining us in just a moment. I'm seeing him getting checked in the green room. I mean, truthfully, I thought we were just going to drag Saint up immediately. And I personally I jumped the gun for a moment, but
Well, that's because ZP, we have, hopefully, fingers crossed, a slight change to the show of what we would normally do because we don't get to see the faces of the players, but we have a little surprise for the viewers. And I'm trying to slowly stretch it right now to hopefully time it perfectly for when Saint gets dragged into this room. And then we can have our new addition to the show, which might catch some of you off guard because you may have not seen this play. Okay, I could just keep going.
Yeah,
But we're going nowhere.
Keep going, man. This could be a while. Like, just keep going. Like, we'll see where it stops. I mean, we don't need the same. Me and Jake are just like sitting here, like, yep.
You're doing great, bud. You're doing great. Keep up the good hustle there.
Now, I know you guys have had iPhone 27, but what about a new revolutionized iPhone 28 with its 23rd camera in the back? You can now see through walls. No, I think it's actually great. Like Saint's been streaming a lot. I like hopped into a stream. Obviously, he can speak English. It's really cool to see a lot more of these players streaming. And Saint's been, I mean, he kind of came into the competitive scene, I would say, like relatively unknown. I think before we saw him playing, I can't remember if it was Abraham's or a different team. Because it was after like the 1-win / DMS. DMS? Was it DMS?
Wait, you're going back to, yeah. I mean, you go far enough back. You have like the DMS. Yeah, DMS was the team name. And
DMS and 1-win. He wasn't around in any of those teams, and then he kind of came around once the splits happened, and he's rose to the ranks as being such a solid player and a solid support player. It's really cool to see. There's still a lot of untapped talent. Like for instance, OCs is one of the ones we've been talking about today.
Okay, now officially, we're welcoming Saint for the interview, which may have camera this time. Saint,
Yeah,
welcome
hello guys.
to the show. And you know, I was gonna make a joke that Saint is just like a block of color, but instead, no, Saint is as you'd expect. Well, first off, congratulations on the win, and you know, I'll keep things simple here. New roster for Abrahams. Is this the new final roster for Abrahams, or you know, what's the roster situation like? Because there's been a lot of shifts over the last few weeks.
I think it's maybe final roster for the 2 or 1 month. Everything can change. I don't know, maybe Buff Enjoyers will try to get back Dimov. Maybe somebody wanna leave. I don't know. Everything can happen. Like, we don't know.
I mean, this today was like a huge, beat down from you guys. Like game 1 had some closer moments. It was like a little bit more competitive, but game 2, obviously you guys are having a lot of fun with it, realizing the advantage you're at in the game. So I kind of want to zoom out a little bit wider for you guys and think about for potential opponents in the future. Buff Enjoyers is rebuilding. Is there anyone else? I know you had previously talked about Fearless Furies in the Trolley Invitational, but is there anyone else, any teams you're on the lookout for, any even just like players in the ranked ladder that you kind of want to see in competitive Deadlock that you want to call out or expect to see maybe as competitors soon?
I think like there's no new players that can do something incredible and show good games, because everybody that wanna play is already playing. Others people don't have enough experience tournaments, scrims, and they're just not ready for this at this moment.
Well, I mean, you haven't seen me play just quite yet. I'm just saying. But that's because I'm down in Initiate 1. We haven't met up quite yet in any Deadlock matches. Okay. Do you have another question, Jake, or can I hop in?
Go in, Jason.
Okay. So I'm curious, and maybe you can't tell us this, which is okay if that's the answer. Why did ABL leave? And then what happened to bring him and D-Mob back into the team?
It's a difficult question to ask to answer actually, because I
If you
think I
can't
don't.
say it, then that's
You don't
okay.
have to answer, by the way.
I don't think that I need to answer
this.
this question. I don't think that I need to answer
Okay.
this question.
I
Then let me-
respect it. Good.
let me
As
change
a
the
former
question then.
professional player, smart answer.
Let me change the question then. How did the whole bringing ABL and DMOV come to be? Like, did they reach out to you? Did you reach out to them? Like, how did you guys come together to form this new Abrahams?
As I know, we lost our last night shift. I go sleep and I wake up and I see messages that Dimov and ABL want to play in our team, like together wrote it to us. And we just said, yeah, okay, let's go, why not? Because we know that Hood and Obicon will come back to Buff Enjoyers and they try Cosmetical. And we just need 2 players to continue playing tournaments and scrims, and ABL and Dimov want to play, and we just, yeah, let's go, why no?
I just love it. You wake up and then the other's like ABL and DMob are joining. Okay, cool. Like, done.
That's like me waking up on match day and finding out that EU across multiple teams has changed their rosters significantly in just 24 hours. Look, we got on our side too. I want to do a game-related question here, based on some of the meta things we've been seeing. But this is more a historical thing where, you had a long period of time where you got to play a whole lot of Kelvin, and obviously Kelvin has been pretty unavailable to you in recent times. Are you actually secretly hoping for Kelvin nerfs so you actually get to play Kelvin again, because you've been denied what has been your signature hero for a long period of time now?
Actually, I wanna play Kieran because it's one of my favorite hero. And I think they need to nerf him. Like, his ultimate is so broken. He nerf his lane, they nerf his HP regen, they nerf his ult, but I don't know. Just need more nerfs. More. Like Paradox. Paradox got nerfed maybe 50 times, I don't know. And Kelvin need, I don't know, maybe 1 or 2 nerfs and it's gonna be good. Like, it's balanced.
That makes sense. I have a question for you guys. I mean, you guys bought Trophy Collector in this last game as a bit of a meme, But I will say we've seen in some other much more competitive games a little bit of Trophy Collector buying after the recent buff. Do you think there's room for that item to be like a legit buy, maybe like in like one player on a team, in the right spot, as like an actual strong item, maybe replacing something like Cult Sack or maybe other items?
I think Trophy Collector is pretty good item when you have a strong lanes and when you're ahead, like maybe 10 or 15k at minute 10. Because in this game there is a comeback mechanic that if you are losing money, you are getting more money from creeps, boxes, skills, from everything. And when you buy trophy, even if you fight with them, like you kill them, you get money, passive money after kills. And even if they farm, you are getting money too. So it's like a really good item to not let enemy come back when they are losing. Like if you are winning, you will just start winning more, like in a 5 minutes. Yeah, but in this game it was just funny, like that. Go full stacks Trophy Collector, like Dima together and everybody bought it.
Look, Dimov is 100% win rate on cheat death. No one can take that away from him. We're here to mess with anyone that just looks at a spreadsheet. Jason, you got any final questions before we send Saint on his well-deserved victory run?
I could have one more, though it's more of like a serious question, because I'm curious about how the way you guys are slotting in ABL and Dimov with the hero pools that they bring to the team. We looked at the Yamato game thinking ABL was going to be on Yamato and that DMob was going to be on Viscous, but in fact it was actually together playing the Yamato and ABL on the Viscous. So are you guys still in like the learning phase of like how you want to put who on what, or do you guys already have like a set plan in place of who's kind of filling what role? Maybe you can tell us a little bit about that.
I think in our roster everybody can play on every hero if he understands his role, what he need to do, and he know how to play on this hero. So if Dimov wanna play Dorman, Viscous, Swiper, okay bro, no problem. If you know how to play, if you know how to win, let's go, I know. And yeah, we can flex heroes. Dimov, ABL together have not the same, but they can flex heroes with each other.
Makes you guys very deadly, to be honest.
Yeah, and about Dimov and ABL, like we were working with ABL like for 1 or 2 months, as I remember, and nothing changed. But Dimov was a really big surprise for me. Like I was thinking maybe he's a little bit evil rage guy, but he's super. He's super. I don't know, smart. He understands what he's doing. I don't know. It's super. I really like to work with Dimov in one team.
Look, from my perspective, no one gets to be a top Deadlock player without having a little bit of rage inside them. You just got to go through a lot of games to get good at the game. But Saint, thank you so much for joining us on the interview. Great to have you here, and great to have the camera up too. But congrats again on your victory. Thank you.
Thank you guys. Bye bye. Bye bye.
All right, moving along. Well, not only are we going to be taking a break in just a moment to head into North America, but we got a special bit of extra content. It's going to be Name That Thing, starring Jason Kaplan hosting, and some of your favorite Deadlock players around. It's content I don't even know the full context of, but we've done it before, and you get a first view of it here as we take a break and get ready for North America.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Locked In. It has been a very long time. I've been super busy the last 2 to 3 months of time, but you know what? We're finally back and we're doing, once again, Name That Thing. However, there's going to be no trolling. We have 3 of some of my favorite guests in Deadlock. We've got Hoot, we've got Listic, and we got Zergy, all to participate and play. And the whole premise of this is I'm going to show you a zoomed in part of an image, and these 3 players have to guess which hero, which item, and which ability it is to get points and see who comes out on top. So to kick things off by going into our first round here, which will of course be heroes. They know they have to hit the buzzer to lock in and get their guess first. So we're going into our first round here. It's going to be heroes, and let's see what's going to happen. Okay, Listic already buzzed in. So Listic, what hero is this?
Bebop?
It is not Bebop. It is not Bebop. So Zergy, you buzzed in second. It is in fact Doorman. Moving into round 2, our second hero, and here we go.
Oh wait,
Buzzed in before you
okay, no, I pressed space on my keyboard.
I reset. Go ahead, you can do it again. Okay, Hoot's locked in. Who is this hero?
Is it Pocket?
Haze?
Haze is the
I
wrong
know.
answer, which leaves Listic now for a chance.
It's Billy.
Billy. Is it Billy?
Oh,
It is
what?
Billy.
It is Billy.
Yeah.
I mean, to be fair, he plays a lot of Billies, so it kind of makes sense. But you know what? I feel like I was to give you half a point, Hoot, because it technically was a pocket. It just wasn't a hero
I'll
pocket,
take
right?
it.
Moving on to round... I'm not giving you a half point, just to let you know. Moving on to round 3. Hoot, locking in first. Who do you have, Hoot?
Is it Lash?
It is Lash. It is Lash. Hoot gets on the board with 1 point. Okay. Okay, so moving on to the next round. It's currently tied at 1 apiece between all 3 of you. Our 4th hero out of 6. Oh, let's take it real fast with the buzz-in.
Warden?
Warden is not the right answer.
I mean,
Yeah.
oh, guess.
Okay, Hoot, lock it in. Who do you got?
Is it like McGinnis?
What part of McGinnis is this? I'm just curious.
I'm thinking there's like a weird blue part.
A weird blue part, okay.
Clothing or something.
It is not McGinnis. So Zergy, it's up to you now. Hoot and Listic not getting it right. Who do you have for this?
Maybe it's Yamato. Is it Yamato?
What part of Yamato is this, if I may ask?
The back of her head, she has like a little burn, I think. No,
Okay.
She doesn't have a burn. I don't know what she has.
Okay. Well, I can tell you it's not Yamato though either. So does anyone else have guesses of who this is?
I'm throwing spaghetti at the wall, bro.
Okay.
Whatever.
I mean, there's only so many heroes.
Abrams.
Listic, who do you got?
That is Abrams.
It's not Abrams. Who you buzzed in next?
I was also gonna guess Abrams.
I mean, you can see Abrams on the right-hand side of our screen.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking of the color scheme.
I thought it was like the inside of his coat or
Is it
something.
like Sinclair?
He's not Sinclair. You know, I think I might have to just give you all goose eggs for this one. Unless...
Absolute.
I think Zergy, you get 1 more guess because everyone else had 2.
Paradox.
Paradox. It is Paradox. Thick thighs save lives, man.
You zoomed into her
I
thighs?
zoomed into her thigh.
Wait, you're a
Wow,
gooner.
that's insane.
That's crazy.
Okay, moving on to hero number 5. Okay, Zergy.
Holiday.
It's not Holiday.
Ow.
Wow.
How zoomed in is it?
Very
Yeah.
zipped in.
Is this a part of their hair?
I
Like,
can't tell you. Listic, he buzzed in next.
Wait.
What do you have?
Is this McGinnis?
It's not McGinnis. It is not McGinnis. Who? Do you have a guess for us?
Bebop?
It's not Bebop either. So let me reset the buzzers and you can all go 1 more time.
This is impossible.
Don't worry, it only gets easier from here.
oh.
Okay, Zergy.
I got it. Paige. It's Paige.
Ooh.
Not bad, but it's not Paige.
What?
Really?
No.
Okay, I'm actually surprised. I thought it was a part of her hair.
Is it like, oh.
Okay, who? You buzzed in.
Is it Vindicta?
What? Nah.
I mean, maybe if you're using the Beach Vindicta skin,
No.
I can maybe see that. It's not Vindicta though, which means Listic. You got the last guess here.
Holiday?
That was No, not
I
it.
guessed that. I guessed that already, man. I guessed that in the beginning.
Deadlock.
Oh, you get where you guessed already? Oh, I missed that.
Yeah, I guessed that in the beginning.
So it is still not holiday listic. Unfortunately, I didn't change it
Really? Oh,
mid go here.
thought you pulled a sneaky one on it.
Do I need to give you a clue?
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably.
The clue is I think none of you have ever played this in a night shift or fight night tournament.
What?
You can buzz in.
Yeah, I'm trying to think.
A lot of heroes.
It's
Okay. Hoot.
It's like Drifter.
It's not Drifter. It is not Drifter. You're gonna hate me for when I actually show you what this is.
5 minutes later.
Okay, I can give you one
the
more
hint?
clue. Shark had to main this hero for a long period of time with you guys back in fight. Listic. Oh my god, beating Hoot by
Oh my
143
God, I know
milliseconds. Listic, who do you have?
Oh.
Warden?
What? So what? You are that confident in your guess and you immediately, that's crazy.
I was
That's-
not confident. I just buzzed because I knew it. Because I
That's
knew Shark
crazy.
played this.
That's
It's
crazy.
not Warden.
It's not
man.
Warden.
It's not
It's not
Warden. I know
Warden.
exactly who this is.
But Hoot, you buzzed in second here.
Is it Mo?
Oh,
Mo?
Oh.
Yeah.
Technically no, but I'll give it to you because it's Mo and
Krill.
Mo
Krill.
and Crack.
Okay.
Wait, what part of the body? is
part?
It's this.
that?
It's his
That's
vest.
what we zoomed into.
It's his vest.
This is very
Ah.
vast. Okay.
I thought it was like a basket or something.
Okay, so that point went to Hoot. Hoot currently sitting on 2, Zergy sitting on 2, and Listic sitting on 1. We have one more hero left before we have to end this off and then come back with items. Are you guys ready for what this is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
Go, go.
here we go. Oh, Hoot. Oh, wow. Zergy, 69 milliseconds after Hoot. Nice. But Hoot, who is this?
Is it Victor?
It is
Come
Victor.
on, man. That
It's
was like
so-
the easiest
that
one.
was
That was
so
so
easy.
easy. That was so
So
easy.
easy.
Jesus.
I mean,
That was actually so
frame.
easy.
You guys gotta have quick reaction time, I guess. But that puts us at 3 points for Hoot, 2 for Zergy, and 1 for Listic, though I kind of need to deduct a point from Listic for guessing Holiday after Zergy already guessed it in one of the prior ones. But we'll keep you at 1 for now.
Sure.
Thank you guys for watching. Make sure you guys like and subscribe to Locked In, and we'll see you next time for part 2. That is right. You guys at home, go check it out and go sub because part 2 and 3 are coming out next week. Well, I guess part 3 to follow week. We're back here with the night shift number 14 with our North American portion of the show. And I've got a new handsome gentleman joining me on the desk. And I've changed positions with ZP. I've been demoted to the desk host role. But Dan, we got you coming in here. What was your thoughts on EU overall? And I'm assuming you're going to talk about Shiv and probably Trophy Collector.
I feel like they're trying to just make everybody's ranked life a misery because it's not going to work in ranks, but it's going to give everyone permission to start this bad behavior. But I'm fine with it, to be honest. I'm liking that we see so much experimentation, even seeing cheat deathport. I mean, we didn't get to see it used, I don't think, right? But I mean,
Death was never cheated though. That's the entire thing. Like Death actually got played very legitimately because debuff came nowhere close to dying. You know?
They didn't even need the item to do so.
You're not supposed to use it. You just want to have it.
Well, I think the exciting thing for me moving into North America, it's been a while since we've been able to see this team in particular. We'll take a look at the format and the brackets to get you guys caught up on what is going to be happening. But Sneaky Golem coming in for the first time in a few weeks here. Going to see AVG, Goober, and the boys playing up against Bunny with Clock, with Poshy Pop, and even Aiden coming back onto the team. A very star-studded lineup here between these two teams. Not to mention Melee Creeps waiting for them in the finals here, ZP. And honestly, I'm really looking forward to seeing what North America has to show us this week.
Yeah, I mean, this is probably one of our more stacked NA weeks we've had in a really long time because, you know, you look at it, you'd expect, oh, it's another round of Sneaky Golem versus Melee Creeps. And yeah, that may be true, but Bunny with Clock did not look bad last week, and now we get to see their full team. Division was subbing last time around, and now they have Aiden and Gibbs in on the roster. So, you know, it was Geo was the other sub that they had. So those two swapped in because the other two players are playing for the Unks, but now they're at full strength. It is the roster that Poshy Pop has been crafting behind the scenes. And while I still think Sneaky Golem has the edge on paper, you know, it still could be a really good match.
And honestly, like Dan, looking at Poshy Pop in particular, just to quickly talk about him, he's had a rough time, I'd say, when it comes to competitive. He had a lot of success on Melee Creeps, then left the team, ended up ended up playing with Little Troopers, then joined Chain Gang, and then Chain Gang got blown up, and now he's making a new team. I think dedication is one thing this man has in spades.
I think so, and you kind of need it. You kind of need it to survive the North American I suppose, environment. And I suppose it's just Deadlock in general, right? Because we are still before open beta. So you kind of got to find that collection of individuals that you can kind of rally around you that all have that same vision to make something. And, Pochibot's been someone that's been, I think, incredible. And we had him on the show too in the Trolley Open, where we were able to hear his thoughts as well. And he watches all of the Deadlock. So like both regions. And that's not something you can say for all of the players. So I love that he's taking that leadership figure, or he is that leadership figure.
Well, speaking of dedication, we are also dedicated here on the night shift to not only producing and providing you guys with some amazing content, but also to you, the viewers, who have multiple ways to support us. One of it being through Patreon. We have different tiers of support. We actually did have our first $250 tier board member with Tetsuo coming through, who's going to get his very own casted VOD from us. That's one of the benefits of the 250. But we also host things like game nights, not to mention the graveyard shift, which will be happening right after the show kicks off, where you can watch it exclusively and ask questions and even talk to the pro player, if I can get my words out, that we have on the show. And beyond that, also something to note, we have gone back to crowdfunding for our prize pools for the following weeks. We have taken things down from 1,000 for each region down to 600. And any donations that you do get through !donate in the chat goes directly into the prize pool. I believe, if I'm not mistaken, we were at like 1260, something like that. We had like a 25 come in. We had I think a 15 as well, and then 5 coming in from ZP on top of that. We would appreciate any of the support that you guys give us here to continue to bring you the action week in and week out. But gentlemen, it is time to head into our first match of the day for North America. Let's take a look at our rosters here for our first team, which I hope is going to be Sneaky Golem, because this team, they've been MIA for a while here, ZP, but this is, I mean, they used to be, still technically are, one of the best teams, if not the best team in North America.
Yeah, and I mean, I think part of what makes this team really good is that, and you see this in EU too, this is a team that not only has really high mechanical skill, but it's a team that has enormous depth to their hero pools. I mean, Hydration basically has turned into Mr. Flex over time. And then you still have players on the roster like Rocker, who, not only is their hero pool a little bit deeper than you may expect, but signature heroes that at times are, not always the most played heroes. Like, for example, if GT is considered to be back into the meta, which I'm not sure it is, even though it got play in EU, you could expect Rocker to come in and play one of the best GTs around. Goober, meanwhile, having things like Viscus and Bebop. There's a lot of variety within the hero pools that they have, where people have made some of the best heroes in the game, also their signature heroes at the same time. So I mean, nothing too much surprising here if you've been watching a lot of Deadlock, but I mean, this roster is very stacked, and it's why that, effectively the core of this team has been the winningest NA roster in history.
Yeah, and Dan, if you were to kind of talk about maybe an individual or two on this team that really stands out to you in one way or another, who would you kind of pin?
It's an interesting one. It's really hard. I think, like CP said, a lot of these players have so much individual identity when it comes to their relative archetypes that they tend to play on the server. But I really like, pinning it down. I want to say AVG, but I also want to say Hydration as well. AVG a little bit also because of just how he is, I feel like, such a captain type of personality for the team. Alongside maybe someone that's a bit more quieter for Hydration. I'll pick Hydration. Hydration, who has been very consistent to have a lot of these players around him since the very beginning. Of course, all of the Hydration rosters formed around Hydration. Someone that came from Overwatch, someone that is able to play pretty much anything. I think these days, obviously, you see that his roles are a little bit more defined because his teammates have more defined hero pools as well. But Hydration is someone that's always able to deliver and is clearly a student of the game and often an innovative player, someone you can look at to learn from. So that's, I think, he's on that list for me, someone who's VODs that you want to watch.
And I feel like everyone in North America that's been at the top of the competitive play has played with Hydration under the name of Hydronation at some point in their careers. Let's move on to their opponents, though. We got BWC, and no, it's not that kind of BWC. It's Bunny with Clock here, led by Poshipop, the reformed team, as ZP was talking about before. And ZP, this team has, I feel like, such high potential. We've seen Aiden single-handedly control games on his Vindicta. We've seen Gibbs be able to do similar things on Viscus. I mean, everyone on this team has been able to have their own moments. Going into this game, they did not look good last week. Do you think with having Gibbs and Aiden back in the roster, they're finally going to look more towards their true form?
I'd say so. And I mean, part of, I think, what's really nice about Aiden, where, okay, obviously you can ban around what Aiden is good at, but I think anytime you have a player on your roster that is so good at one particular hero that you start warping the draft, it's really good for the rest of your team because you're going to get an advantage meta-wise that you may not get. And, truthfully, for Sneaky Golem, they're a team that generally likes to ban around the strengths of the opposing team. So I'm fully expecting Sneaky Golem to come in and open up with a Vindicta ban in all likelihood. It'll depend if they have first pick or second pick, but especially if they get first pick and they can ensure that they get a Shiv or a Kelvin, they'll probably ban Vindicta in turn. And yeah, that sucks for Aiden that Aiden's not gonna be able to play their signature hero, but it's really good on the other end that you're basically forcing the other team to first ban a hero that you normally wouldn't first ban. So that alone is gonna add a little bit of extra power to the bunny with clock draft-wise. Also, on a light note, a fluff note, it just makes me laugh that the guy whose name is Tanner in all caps is playing the hero that shoulder charges people into walls. It's bringing back bad memories of high school, to be completely honest, but it's also pretty entertaining at the same time.
Bro, what the heck? Did you get shoulder charged by a guy named Tanner in high school?
I mean, it wouldn't be surprising now, would it?
Oh, man. I just feel bad. I mean, I didn't have a great high school either. I got bullied a lot in high school, even though I'm like 6'6", look like a Chad, extremely handsome, hang out with the hottest dudes, go to the chillest restaurants. But no, man.
Why are you letting it in sheer height? You're 6'5". You're already really tall. You're
6 foot. Like, if you go look at my Wikipedia, 6'6", and maybe being 6'7" at the end of the show. Maybe I'll have to up it by 1 inch. But Dan clearly looks like the guy who was the popular kid at school, wears leather jacket because that's what they do over in England. And drinking his tea with his pinky out. But we're heading to
I was the only person that played video games in my school. They used to call me Quake, and not in a nice way. Okay. I got bullied for being a pro gamer back then as well. You couldn't really win back then. If you're a nerd, you just couldn't win.
I feel like someone in chat's gonna be like, just so you know, Dan, you still get bullied for being a pro gamer. Hopefully not. I think it has improved, but to that.
We are going into this. Bunny with clock do have the first pick, so they will go with the first ban. And as Dan ZP was talking about, expecting a Vindicta ban here off the bat from Sneaky Golem.
Yeah, and one quick thing I'll mention. I think I mentioned it last week, but just now that Aiden's playing more, right? He's going to know that he's going to get banned out or targeted more. So there is that evolutionary pressure where he's going to have to expand his hero pool. So I would expect him to be working on good alternatives so that they can be more competitive.
Well, leaving the option open here, ZP. I actually kind of like if Bunny does not take Vindicta first, because there's still a lot of high priority heroes that you want to secure right off the bat that you technically could let, I think, Vindicta go to like 2 or 3 pick if you wanted to get it before the turn.
Yeah, I don't think they have to pick it first in this case, because I think for Sneaky Golem, with you having the 1-2 here, one of those for sure is going to be Paradox. Like, personally, I think the way the meta is right now, you would go Paradox Shiv. I think there's very little downside to going Paradox Shiv as your opening 1-2. I mean, yeah, there's other stuff you can mix in turn. I don't think... The only reason to pick Vindicta in the first 2 is if you're trying to deny Aiden, and if you're not going to use a ban on it, I don't think you're going to use one of the first 2 picks on it either.
Okay, well, Paradox coming out here, Dan. Kind of expected, right? Paradox right off the bat. I'm also curious, no Shiv being secured early, though I don't think there's like a Shiv specialist necessarily in North America like there was in EU with Together.
Yeah, Hydration plays it, right? I don't know if he plays it and he's like super happy that he's playing it, but he plays it, right, for Sneaky Golem?
Well, it'll be Rocker. It would 100% be Rocker in this case. Yeah, so it's a little bit weird because both Paradox and Shiv have been in their hero pool, but I think if you have both of them at the same time, Paradox will get offloaded onto someone else, and then you'll have Rocker on the Shiv. But they can swap it around.
Yeah, because AVG used to be a nasty Shiv as well, I think. Now that I'm thinking about it.
It could be, yeah, actually AVG is also another good get, especially because, frankly, someone needs to be telling AVG no Warden. Like, just when it comes up in chat, it's like, guys, can we do the Warden? Slap the wrist, be like, no, AVG, no. It's not good right now.
I'm going to slap the face instead of the wrist, to be honest. If people keep bringing out Warden here, I mean, even John can't make it work. It's not going to work right now in competitive play. So that, of course, means to the devs out there watching, Nerf Flash. Mina being picked up for Bunny with the clock here, as well as the guys. What's your thoughts, Dan?
Yeah, I mean, this is really interesting. I think, Mina is not a pick that we see super prioritized in EU. So I think this is one of the bigger differences is the value on Mina. So we'll see. Also, Geist as well. Geist has been less prioritized too. So it's kind of interesting. Geist obviously, I feel like can scale really nicely with both the tankiness and obviously the damage output. So it's kind of a nice all-round pick. But I don't know. I feel like they're looking at comfort territory picks as opposed to leaning more towards the meta. It's kind of where I'm getting the vibe at the moment.
You know, and I don't hate that necessarily, ZP. I remember last week when we talked about the Unks, they primarily focused on getting comfort heroes. And you know what?
Yep.
It's worked for them. It worked against Sneaky Golem, where they did take him to a third game. But will it work for Bunny with Clock? Are they that good on their specialists to take them down in a best of one is a whole entirely different question.
Yeah, I mean, you can also tell, like, meta-wise, things have shifted a lot more radically in NA. I mean, no one's wanting to keep it hot right now. There's no Infernus. I think for Bunny with Clock, you may want to ban it, because going into the next round of picks, I think Sneaky Golem is like, yeah, okay. Because if you don't ban Infernus, I think Sneaky Golem probably picks it for Rokane. It is one of Rokane's most picked heroes, period. But the other thing that's weird, too, is that we're into the second round of picks, and Ivy hasn't been grabbed yet. Presumably Ivy's going either this pick or with the next two picks from Bunny with Clock, and if it doesn't, we live in a very wild universe.
Sorry, I'm a little late. Had to finish the chapter
Okay.
I was on.
Yeah. It's I mean, it's interesting too, because, you know, Bebop is out there still. I think Bebop for both regions is seeing some good priority. And given that Bunny with Clock don't have any natural pick just yet, and they don't have the Paradox or the Holiday to go to, kind of feels like they want to make sure they can get a... I would hope that they want to get a Bebop here, or something that can give them a bit more pick potential.
Abrams keeps coming.
That will never not be funny. I'm sorry. Abrams, I mean, they have a beefy front line now, ZP. Geist, Abrams, Yamato. I'm assuming Tanner's going to be picking up Abrams. Hopefully you don't have PTSD flashbacks of high school here. But this is a very beefy front line so far for them.
Yeah, and I would like to see them pick up the Ivy so you have some form of gun carry, although you think about who's going to be taking the farm. I think the reality is they may be apportioning a lot of the farm to Mina in this case and Yamato. But also, going with the Mo and Krill here, you're now basically all in on we are extremely frontline heavy, and a lot of your pick potential is going to be Mo walk at them at this point.
Yes, I'm a little bit worried about that, because usually I feel like you want a different setup piece. I think Mo's been deprioritized. Oh, we actually get, so you might see that Rocket GT after all. But yeah, there's not a lot of... The setup, I feel, for Bunny with Clock is not amazing. Like you say, just the combo by running up to people. Obviously, Abrams can maybe initiate a charge, but it's nice to have something else to pair it with, like Vindicta with the stake, or Paige with the stun to follow up, or Doorman with the ult. There's like various extra bits you can add there that really make it a lot more powerful. But right now, it's super worrying. And again, Bebop is still available. Like, what do you want to see them pick, CP?
They probably end with Vindicta, right? I'm like, you think about who we talked about the preamble, like, oh man, Vindicta is such a priority for Aiden. Well, you got Aiden, and Vindicta is on the board, and nothing can stop you here. On the same note, Bebop with Mo and Krill would be good. So this is kind of weird. Okay, you go Sinclair. So this is very interesting because it shows that some of the priority has changed for how Bunny with Clock have been operating, because generally speaking, teams with Aiden pick Vindicta for Aiden. In this instance, you had all the opportunity in the world to pick it, and you still decided not to at the end. You go up to Sinclair. So Pashi is cooking something here. I'm not entirely sure what, but there was a distinct change of, okay, you may be really good at Vindicta. We just don't want the Vindicta at all, though.
I mean, if anything, I think this does show some growth out of Aiden in particular, to not rely on Vindicta, right? And to kind of really work on his pool to flex things out, knowing that Vindicta is going to be a very targeted ban against him. But taking a look at, you know, the picks now we have coming through, Dan, are you leaning one direction or another?
So, I mean, I have to lean towards Sneaky Golem. You know, they got the Shiv and they got Ivy. You know, I feel like they got really good picks. They got Viscous for Goober and everything. So really nice picks. So, but Bunny with Clock, I do want to say that I like the Sinclair kind of over the Vindicta, just because for me that adds split pushing potential. There's a lot more utility that they were missing, and it adds a bit more early laning power as well. And there is setup there, obviously, that can go with you know, the combo or the charges and stuff like that. You know, the Rabbit Hex gives you more opportunity to kind of play with stuff. And obviously, you know, Sinclair can get kind of out of control.